866-OIL-DEAL. That's 866-OIL-DEAL.
Welcome back as we wrap up the Nissan Mets pregame show. Game 1 between the Mets and Phillies coming up in just a moment. But first, our player to bank on, sponsored by California Cryo Bank. Build your family with the #1 sperm bank in the United States. And today, we bank on Francisco Alvarez. That'll do it for the Nissan Mets pregame show. On the other side, we join Keith Radd and the Hall of Fame radio voice of the New York Mets, Howie Rose, for lineups and first pitch, Game 1 of the NLDS coming up right after this.
The Nissan Mets pregame show on Odyssey Mets Radio has been brought to you by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Spectrum, a connection built for everywhere. That's life unlimited. That's Spectrum. Sloman's Home Security. The difference is human. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. Peerless Boilers and Pavilion Tankless Water Heaters. Visit peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Flag and Anthem. Real clothes for real life. Margaret Teets, Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Laborers Local 731. Feel the power. 1-877-CARS for Kids. That's cars with a K to donate your car today. And by ELEC 825. Building our future.
Why not Washington? Right now, they look like the best team in the NFC East.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
The thing I do know about the Chiefs, Andy Reid is one of the best head coaches and play callers in the game.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Eagles running back Saquon Barkley.
I look at all the great backs. I want to be aligned with those type of guys.
From the field to the front office, nobody covers the game like SiriusXM NFL Radio. Channel 88.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio. SiriusXM.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you for hanging out with us during this Division Series MLB postseason matchup. Please hit that like button down below. It helps bring more baseball fans and sports fans here to the chat to help you cheer on your team. Where are you watching from in the chat? Let us know. Say hi and hit that thumbs up button. We'll be right back to the baseball action. We'll see you guys in the chat. Let's have some fun. Let's keep it classy. And good luck to your team. Hope they win and move on to the World Series.
Our Mets postseason baseball on Odyssey Mets Radio.
Jose Quintana is ready to go. Here's the payoff pitch to Sanchez. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Side retired. 3-1 to Alonso. Williams sets. Here's the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Freeland back at the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career. Pumps his fist as he rounds second. It's a 3-run homer. He's given the Mets a 3-2 lead. They all pour out of the dugout. First pitch. Swinging a liner toward short. Picked by Lindor on one hop. Runs to second. One throws to first. Out at first. Out at first. Put it in the box. The Mets are out at the mound, pouncing on each other. This party is headed to Philadelphia.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact one for a great deal today. And by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. The Rothenberg Law Firm. InjuryLawyer.com. Casamigos Tequila. Brought to you by those who drink it. Thrivewell Infusion. The official IV sponsor of Odyssey Mets Radio. Visit ThrivewellInfusion.com. Bridgewater Acura on Route 22 in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Peerless Boilers and Pavilion tankless water heaters. Visit peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Gin and Juice, a premium seltzer, an official partner of the New York Mets. LifeVac, the original choking rescue suction device that saves lives. The New York Lottery. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. And by Berkeley College. Your potential is our promise.
From Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, welcome to New York Mets baseball. This afternoon, the Mets face the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 1 of the National League Division Series. The starting pitchers for Philadelphia, the former Mets right-hander Zach Wheeler, and for the Mets, surprise, surprise, right-hander Kodi Sanga. Hi again, everyone. I'm Howie Rose along with Keith Rad. If you know anything about the Mets and the Phillies, and more so the hostilities between Philadelphians and New Yorkers, one simple truth: it's on. The people in this ballpark are stoked, and the Mets for the first time will play a playoff series against the Phillies after New York's dramatic 3-game win in the wild card series, as they came up with 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning to beat and eliminate the Milwaukee Brewers just 2 nights ago. In some ways it seems like a week ago, but in other ways it seems like a month since the Mets have been home. Their incredible journey will end tomorrow night before they finally buzz back to New York, but a lot of business to take care of first, tonight and tomorrow. Our game time temperature is sponsored by Peerless Boilers and Pavilion tankless water heaters. Go to peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. Beautiful day, blue sky, 78 degrees here in Philadelphia. Yep, Kodi Sanga is starting for the Mets. How long might he go? We'll look into that next on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Throw in some music.
We can watch the game. Or we could keep it simple.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Mets fans. Flagstar is bringing banking to the big leagues. Now we have even more accounts and services available, from simple savings to small business and commercial banking. Wherever you are on your financial journey, our talented bankers are here to help. And our technology is as helpful as our people. Stop by a branch or visit flagstar.com. Together, we can do great things. Flagstar Bank, let's align the stars. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Just like those pivotal playoff moments, when you're injured, you only have one shot to get it right. At the Rothenberg Law Firm, they make every swing count. With over 54 years of experience, they've been securing victories for their clients when it matters most. From auto accidents to medical malpractice, let them step up to bat for you. Call 1-800-624-8888 or visit injurylawyer.com.
Lawyer for injured ones, injurylawyer.com.
An orthopedic surgeon can replace a damaged joint, but they can't replace time. For you, or for the person who has to drive you around. That's why you need a surgeon who's close to home. At RWJ Barnabas Health, we have the specialized care you need to get moving again. Do it right. Here. Visit rwjbh.org/ortho. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Looking for a replacement window?
Get the Anderson 400 Series double hung window installed for you by Riverhead Building Supply.
Anderson is the #1 brand for window replacement.
Visit a Riverhead Building Supply showroom or rbscorp.com today.
You can count on our friends at Ridgewood Savings Bank to show you the community banking difference with cutting-edge conveniences and a century-long tradition of award-winning service. Ridgewood is a financial partner you can count on today, tomorrow, and all of the years to come. Whether you prefer to bank at your local neighborhood branch, from home, or on the go, they're always here to help you reach your goals. So let our friends at Ridgewood be the full-service banking partner you can count on to support you in your financial journey. Visit ridgewoodbank.com to find out more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Back here at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, getting set for Game 1 of this best-of-5 series between the Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. Our salute to America is brought to you by the Ray Katina family of dealerships. Visit them at raykatina.com. The national anthem was performed today by Nikisha Williams. The pitching for the Mets, who are going to face their old nemesis at times, and former teammate to be sure, Zach Wheeler, will be performed today by Kodi Sanga. And did your eyes pop out of your head when the announcement was made yesterday, Keith, that he would get the ball today?
Unbelievably stunning. A bit of a shocker, if you ask us, who have been around this team for literally the whole year, but especially the last few weeks when the writers would ask Carlos Mendoza, how's Kodi, how's Kodi? And it almost was at the end of the press conference, came along with a chuckle from both the media and Carlos Mendoza. Well, we'll worry about Kodi when we can at least know about Kodi. It was out of sight, out of mind, and now he's on the mound in Game 1 of the NLDS. And quite frankly, he wanted this. He called out to David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza and the Mets and said, give me this assignment. You should have seen him yesterday at the press conference. Confident, funny, loose, ready to go against one of the lineups that he was looking forward to most when he signed in the States with the Mets ahead of last year. Who knows about Kodi Sanga? Maybe 30 to 35 pitches. The Mets were pretty quiet on how long he would go today. Meanwhile, Zach Wheeler, no stranger to the Mets. He has been dominant, probably going to finish second in the Cy Young to Chris Sale this year in the National League. 11 postseason games, 10 starts over the last 2 years. He is ready to go. He's pitched to a 2.42 playoff ERA. We'll come back, look at the starting lineups, and have first pitch of the NLDS Game 1 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
No matter where you're rooting for the Mets this postseason, 10-1 Rum wants you to elevate your game day lineup with 9 Mets-inspired cocktails. Winning requires doing things a little differently, so explore the unexpected because a world of amazing experiences awaits with 10-1 Rum. Celebrate the joy of discovery with 10-1 Rum this season. From 10-1 Rum's 8-6 Old Fashioned to the amazing daiquiri, there's a drink for every fan and every occasion. 10-1 Rum, a proud partner of the New York Mets.
While everyone is listening to the ball game, the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative is hard at work rebuilding our infrastructure. Whether it's transportation, water, or energy projects, ELEC and the Operating Engineers 825 are ready to get to work building our bounce back.
With over 30 stores to serve you, a rewards app that earns you free groceries, and a shop online service that delivers right to your door, what are you waiting for? Download the Food Bazaar Rewards app and get 10,000 bonus points after your first purchase. Visit foodbazaar.com.
Kickboxing knock out your knee? We've got specialists for that. Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has the specialized expertise, extensive training from the nation's best programs, and years of experience to tackle each of your orthopedic needs so you can feel better, faster. Locations across Long Island, open 7 days a week, and now open in Kew Gardens as well. Visit OrlandCohen.com.
Hey, New York fans! Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in New York City's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at a New York City area Verizon store.
Life can change suddenly without any warning whatsoever. When you're sidelined due to a debilitating personal injury, it's crucial to have a trusted team on your side. The Rothenberg Law Firm has over 50 years of spectacular courtroom experience, ensuring that you're not facing those obstacles alone. Winning and collecting billions for our clients, we are committed to helping you recover whatever you deserve. The Rothenberg Law Firm, 1-800-624-8888.
Baseball fans, thank you for hanging out with us during... Hey you. Yeah, the one that's listening to the MLB playoffs with us. We really appreciate you being here. Please help our community grow. Take a minute to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single MLB playoff game here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Now, if you're already subscribed, we appreciate it. Cheers, Insiders. Now, please share this link out as much as you can. Send it out to the social boards. Put it up on the social media, on Twitter. Get it out there. Let's bring more baseball fans here into the chat to hang out with us during these playoffs. Really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well as hitting that share button. We'll see you guys back in the chat.
how many pitches today for Kodi Sanga. I mentioned yesterday at the press conference, he said how funny he was and confident he was. And he said, how many pitches, Kodi? He said, if it's 10, it's 10. If it's 200, it's 200. That should show you how ready he is for this one. Meanwhile, the Phillies, who had the first round bye, so this is their first playoff action in first baseball in about a week, finished the regular season winning the National League East with a record of 95-67. Kyle Schwarber leads off. He's the DH. Trey Turner bats second as the shortstop. Bryce Harper, the first baseman, hits third. Cleanup hitter, right fielder Nick Castellanos. Alec Boehm is at third, batting fifth. Bryson Stott, the second baseman, hits sixth. And the bottom trio for Rob Thompson's Phillies. JT Realmuto, the catcher. Brandon Marsh in left. And Johan Rojas in center. With a veteran now, Zach Wheeler. 10 major league seasons, including 10 postseason starts and 1 postseason relief appearance. In the postseason, he has pitched to a 2.42 ERA. Today's uniforms are brought to you by Flag and Anthem. Real close for real life. flagandanthem.com. Phillies are wearing their cream-colored uniforms. Phillies written in red bubble print across the chest with the dots over both eyes, and Phillies the blue star. Meanwhile, for the Mets, they wear the road grays. New York in blue across the chest, trimmed in orange. Give you an example of how this place is right now. The Mets got in from Milwaukee, and we're standing outside the hotel very, very early in the morning, 3:30 a.m. It was actually 3:24 a.m. I remembered it because across the street, in the middle of the Thursday Philly night, a fan out of nowhere yelled, "Welcome to hell, boys." 3:30 a.m. These people were ready for this matchup, and so are we. And when it's game time, it's telly time. First pitch is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew during today's game. Well, we are ready, and so is the Hall of Fame radio voice of the New York Mets, Howie Rose.
All right, thank you very much, Keith. And so, right now, at the start of this game, the shadows, which are always a factor when you start about this time of afternoon, the shadows basically encompass the left side of the field. So basically you've got the pitcher and the hitter in the same situation. The pitcher standing in almost all shade with a little bit of sunlight at the left front of the mound, and the batter's box area completely in the shade. But the left side of the field shaded, the right side a lot of sun, and that could come into play on a fly ball. Fans are waving their red towels. They call it Red October here in Philadelphia. And for the Phillies, it begins with Wheeler's first pitch, and it's taken for a called strike by Francisco Lindor. 0-1. Francisco taking on the inside corner at a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Wheeler. The 0-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. A little late getting around on that fastball. And quickly it's 0-2. Lindor had his first 2 hits in the postseason in the third game in Milwaukee on Thursday night. But he drew a huge walk to start the 9th inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a foul going back to the screen. You got the feeling that if Lindor could fight his way on to start that inning against Devin Williams, maybe the Mets would be able to create something. Pretty much for the first time that night, they did. You know how it ended. 4-2 New York. The 0-2 to Lindor. Swinging a liner to first, caught on the backhand by going down to his knees. Harper, one man away. I wouldn't call it a dive. He moved to his right and was on his way down, got it knee high, and Lindor on a hard hit ball is out to get us underway.
Zach Wheeler, 4 straight fastballs to start. That last one touched 99. He is amped.
And interestingly, when Zach came up with the Mets in 2013, his average fastball is about 94.5. His average this year was almost a mile an hour higher than that. And remember, he's a guy who had Tommy John surgery. Here's Mark Vientos, right-hand batter. Takes a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Vientos went 0 for 4 on Thursday night in Milwaukee, went 3 for 12 in the series with 2 runs batted in. And Wheeler back 0-1, swing and a miss. Had a good hard sinker. And the count 0-2 to Mark Vientos. And this crowd, cued by virtually anything, is going to spend a lot of time on its feet today. Here's the 0-2 on the way to Vientos. Swing and a miss, strike 3. High fastball, and Vientos chased. So 2 up, 2 down. Brandon Nimmo will be the batter. Defensively for the Phillies, Harper at first, Stott at second, Turner at short, Boehm at third. Marsh, Rojas, Castellanos, left to right in the outfield. JT Realmuto, still an elite defender behind the plate, is catching Wheeler. Here's Nimmo, left-hand batter. Wheeler's first pitch, check swing, goes around, 0-1. And once again, Wheeler throwing very hard, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Brandon Nimmo has just summoned over the bat boy for the sunglasses. We talk about how important the shadows are right now. Lindor hit with sunglasses on and eventually lined out. Nimmo couldn't see very well, asked for sunglasses after that first pitch.
And it's interesting because the amount of sunlight on the mound right now is already greater than it was when Lindor is up. Here's the 0-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. 0-2, a fastball. This might be a factor for the first inning or two. But when the inning started, mentioned there was just a thin patch of sunlight to the lower left of the mound. Now most of the mound is in the sun, and that makes it doubly hard for the hitter in the shade. 0-2, flags waving, the pitch fouled back to the screen. Wheeler essentially is pumping in fastball after fastball after fastball. That last one up to 99. And essentially he's throwing nothing but strikes here. 2 out, nobody on, just getting started. 0-2 to Wheeler, or from Wheeler, to Nimmo. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that retires the side. He got him with a split change, and the Mets go down in order. 2 strikeouts for Wheeler, and in the middle of the first inning, the Mets nothing, and the Phillies coming up on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Craving a tasty burger? Well, Smash Burger has you covered. And Smash Burger's now open at 669 8th Avenue at 42nd Street. Enjoy certified Angus beef burgers, signature sides like Smash Fry.
Hey sports fans, we've made it to the Division Series. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please take a moment to check the link that is pinned in the chat. It is our Sick Kids Fall Drive campaign link. We are raising money for Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. It is near and dear to my heart, as I wouldn't be alive today if it was not for that hospital there in Toronto. So please click that link, check it out, send a donation in if you can to support this awesome channel and this awesome community of Toronto sports fans that we have here, bringing you all of the MLB playoff games. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Good luck to your team, and let's make a difference in the community.
Is the unwavering determination that inspires everything we do. Redefine your driving experience with Honda, KBB.com's best value brand of 2024.
Contact your local Honda dealer today.
Based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelly Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
No matter where you're rooting for the Mets this postseason, 10-1 Rum wants you to elevate your game day lineup with 9 Mets-inspired cocktails. Winning requires doing things a little differently, so explore the unexpected because a world of amazing experiences awaits with 10-1 Rum. Celebrate the joy of discovery with 10-1 Rum this season. From 10-1 Rum's 8-6 Old Fashioned to the amazing daiquiri, there's a drink for every fan and every occasion. 10-1 Rum, a proud partner of the New York Mets.
We're coming to you live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth here at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Bigelow Tea, grab a mug and tea proudly. The Mets went down in order against Zach Wheeler in the top of the first. And lo and behold, that guy on the mound wearing number 34 is Kodi Sanga. Remember him? He made a cameo appearance this year. Remember now, in spring training, he had shoulder problems. And the Mets weren't sure, as soon as those problems cropped up, if it would cost him any significant time during the season. Well, it did. There were a lot of false starts. Every time it appeared that his rehab was getting him to a point where he might soon be ready to, if not join the team, then at least go out and pitch some rehab assignments. Well, let's put it this way. It took him until July 26th to come back, and that start ended after 5 1/3 mostly brilliant innings with a calf strain. He's facing Kyle Schwarber to lead off, left-hand batter with power. First pitch by Sanga. There's the ghost fork, and it swung on and missed 0-1. So I guess that's Sanga's way of saying to the boys, well, here it is. Try to hit it.
He was a ghost all year himself. He brings out the ghost fork right away.
Schwarber had another good year in the power department. The 0-1 to him is a fastball high, 1-1. He hit 38 home runs, third in the National League. He drove in 104. That was tied for fourth, and he hit 248. but he strikes out a lot. 197 times this year. The 1-1 to him. Swing and a drive, well hit to right, forget it. Marte does not even turn around as the ball lands in the second deck. Here in Philadelphia, they call those Schwarbers. And was that ever a long, long home run for Kyle Schwarber, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead, one batter into the bottom of the first inning.
Fastball right down the middle. This one ends up going 425 feet, second deck in right. Schwarber has now hit 21 postseason home runs, the most by a left-handed hitter in the history of the postseason, and he does it right here to begin the series.
An instant jolt, and here's Trey Turner, the right-hand hitting shortstop. Turner missed some time with an injury too this year. It was a hamstring. First pitch to him is taken high, 1 ball and no strikes. Turner hit .295. That was good for 4th best in the league. 21 homers, 62 runs batted in. And we'll see if that unnerves Senga just a little bit. The crowd making a lot of noise here, and Senga just put his hand to the right ear. The 1-0 on the way. Breaking ball for a called strike. It's 1-1. You know, nowadays, of course, with the pitch com, hearing can become a problem in circumstances like this. We saw that in Milwaukee. 1-1 to Turner. Senga, left leg kick deals, and that's upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Looked like it might have been the fork ball. Bryce Harper waiting on deck. Outfield straightaway against Turner, who's got real good speed. And Senga's 2-1. Breats over the outside corner, a sweeper for a called strike. And it's 2-2. Look at the defensive alignment, sponsored by Orland & Cohen Orthopedic Group. Experiencing orthopedic pain, they've got specialists for that. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So he had Turner out in front of that fork ball. And for Senga, a very valuable first out, just from the standpoint of settling back down after being greeted by that long home run by Schwarber. So to bring up Bryce Harper, and for the Mets defensively, they have Alonso at first, Iglesias at second, Lindor at short, Vientos at third, Nimmo, Taylor, Marte, left to right in the outfield, Alvarez catching Senga. How about Marte? Not even a courtesy look back. That's how long that ball went from Schwarber. First pitch to Harper is a fastball that's low, 1 ball and no strikes. Harper was 8th in the league in hitting, batting .285. He hit 30 homers, tied for 9th in the league, 87 runs batted in. Left-hand hitter. And Senga deals. Fastball is outside. 2-0 to Harper. Last year, because of that ghost fork, the lefties hit only 186 against Senga. It's a great pitch to the lefties. 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch to Harper. Inside with a breaking ball. 3 balls and no strikes. Harper always walks a lot, 8th in the league. He had the 5th base on base percentage, largely because of that. But he really appreciated the virtual week off. The Phillies haven't played since the regular season ended Sunday. And that's been tricky for some of these teams, negotiating the bye since the new system went in. See if he's swinging 3-0. The pitch. Fastball low, ball 4. Harper draws a 4-pitch walk. And it'll bring up Nick Castellanos.
Well, that's the thing. This Phillies team, they took advantage of the first-round buys the last 2 years. 2022, they came in kind of like the Mets did this year and blew past that team that didn't get the buy. So it was a question of how flat would they be to start out with? Would it take a few innings? Well, it took 3 pitches for them to get on the board.
And 3 pitches for David Peterson to stand up and start walking around in the Mets bullpen. 3 batters, I should say. Here's Castellanos, right-hand batter, takes a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Now, realistically, I think the expectation for Senga is 30, 35 pitches, maybe at the end of the day, 2 innings. 0-1 the count to Castellanos. This will be pitch number 14, and it's lifted in the air to right field, slicing towards the corner. Marte over, can't get to it. The ball bounces just next to the sidewall and foul ground. Marte slowed up a little bit. Remember, he's had the leg problems this year. And I think it was pretty apparent that Marte, even though it was a foul ball and maybe under different circumstances might have been considered playable, was either fighting the sun, and it's very bright out in right field, or wanted to be sure not to overdo any aggression that might force him to run hard into that wall and maybe get hurt. 0-2 to Castellanos. Harper at first, 1 out, 1-0 Phillies in the first. Sanga deals. Swing on a foul, back off to the right and out of play. That will settle into the second deck. And this place is absolutely packed. It almost seems as though if you didn't wear red, you weren't allowed into the building. There's that much of it.
If you're a Mets fan, you're probably hiding for as long as you can.
0-2 to Castellanos. Harper not too big a lead at first. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Sanga going to that slider. Picks up his second strikeout. And with 2 men away, another right-hand hitter, Alec Bohm, will be the batter. And let's take a look at the umpires lineup. Brought to you by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. Andy Fletcher has the balls and strikes today. Edwin Moscoso at first. Doug Eddings at second. Crew chief James Hoy at third. Carlos Torres on the left field line. Rob Drake the right field line. And the first pitch. Sinker taken inside. 1 ball and no strikes. First Mets strikeout of the game, sponsored by Berkeley College. Take a swing on your future with one of their certificate or degree programs. Learn more at berkeleycollege.edu. 1-0 the count. Sanga to the belt. Now the pitch. Swing on a pop fly, shallow right or even right at the edge of the outfield grass. And over to get it is Iglesias, the second baseman. Makes a 2-hand catch to retire the side. A run on a hit, the homer by Schwarber. 1 left, and at the end of 1. It's the Phillies 1, the Mets nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
Hi, this is Will Arnett from Smartless, a podcast I do with my pals Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, with special guests from Howard Stern, Trevor Noah, David Beckham, Kelly Clarkson, to a few presidents. It's an unscripted, unrehearsed, but hopefully not unprepared podcast. We'll cover topics like doing limbo for self-esteem, skydiving hungover to world affairs. And now, you can hear every new episode a full week early on the SiriusXM app. Just search Smartless to join the fun.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines, midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you for hanging out with us during this Division Series MLB postseason matchup. Please hit that like button down below. It helps bring more baseball fans and sports fans here to the chat to help you cheer on your team. Where you watching from in the chat, let us know. Say hi and hit that thumbs up button. We'll be right back to the baseball action. We'll see you guys in the chat. Let's have some fun. Let's keep it classy. And good luck to your team. Hope they win and move on to the World Series.
SiriusXM NFL Radio is your home for the National Football League all year long on Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Your home for postseason baseball. Get personalized highlights and push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app today. We go to the second inning. The Phillies on a Kyle Schwarber home run off of Kodi Sanga have a 1-0 lead over the Mets. And so you would imagine that the plan will be for Sanga to get one more inning, assuming he can get through it. I don't know that they would love to throw David Peterson out there in the middle of an inning if, in fact, he's going to be the first guy out of the pen. And that's still going to depend a little bit on where the Phillies lineup is in terms of the positioning, and the batter who's first up, if there's a pitching change about to be made, could be they have a conventional reliever ready to finish an inning. And then you go to Peterson or maybe Tyler McGill, again, depending upon how the batting order is shaking out. But that's for later. For right now, Well, Pete Alonso's first plate appearance of the second part of his career. I think that's one way to look at it. As Alonso put himself into Mets history lore the other night. The first pitch to Pete, fastball high, ball one. Alonso with that dramatic 3-run homer off of Devin Williams brought the Mets back from staring down a winter that was 2 outs away. The 1-0 on the way, big swing and a foul tip into the mid of Real Muto. And the count 1-1, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And although Pete has been very pragmatic through his struggles, at times really over big chunks of this season, but certainly in the recent past, he's been very, very careful not to say or indicate anything that would admit to pressing. The 1-1 fastball and tie, 2 balls and 1 strike, but he's human. Of course he was pressing. Even his teammates have basically said that. How much of a load he took off his shoulders the other night will be determined in this series and perhaps beyond. The 2-1 swing and a miss at a fastball. And it's 0-2. And right now, even though as the hitter is looking out in center field and sees a lot of sunlight, the pitcher is in the shade, the hitter is in the shade, but I think it's still doubly tough for the hitter because if he's looking for that ball out of the background, well, that's way beyond the pitcher's mound and still advantage pitcher. So here's the 2-2. Way outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Told you Wheeler was amped up. He had hit 99 in the first inning, was just past a note. Wheeler has not hit 99 miles an hour in 2 years. That's how jacked up he is right now and how hard he's throwing.
3-2 the count. Here's the payoff pitch to Alonso. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It was a high fastball that appeared to have been right at the top of the zone as opposed to out of it. But again, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's Wheeler's 3rd straight strikeout. So 1 man away, and it will bring up Jose Iglesias. And Iglesias, although hitting streaks don't carry from regular season to postseason, they actually do from regular season to the next regular season. But his ended the other night. First pitch to the right-hand batter. Breaking ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. He had hit in 24 straight, including the last 22 of the regular season, before going 0 for 4 in Milwaukee. 1-0 the count to Iglesias. Wheeler deals. Swing and a miss. And I'll tell you what, Zach Wheeler is throwing as hard right now as we've ever seen at 98 miles an hour with that last one. But again, this is postseason Zach Wheeler. In the last 2 postseasons, he has been fabulous for the Phillies. The 1-1 on the way. That's driven in the air to center, right into the sun. Rojas stares it down and makes the 2-hand catch. And there are 2 men away.
He said yesterday in his press conference, Zach Wheeler did, that the benefit, if you can have a benefit, even though you slow the momentum down by not playing that first round, is you get to rest, relax, refresh the mind. And after a long year, remember the Phillies, their starters, they go every 5 days. Wheeler looks exactly like he wanted to, rested and refreshed.
Tell you what, they got nothing out of their 5th starters this year.
0.
Now they don't have to deal with that because you don't need 5 starters in the postseason. Here's Jesse Winker, left-hand batter, goes after the first pitch, fouls it off downstairs behind third, 0-1. Well, who's your choice for DH? Well, you got Jesse Winker, who is 4 for his last 47, 0 for 10 in his career against Wheeler, or the similarly struggling J.D. Martinez, who's never seen Wheeler. The 0-1 taken low, 1 ball and 1 strike. So basically, apart from the fact that it's simply the left-handed Winker against the right-handed Wheeler as opposed to right-hand hitting Martinez, Carlos Mendoza rolled the dice and said, all right, I'll go with the guy who's seen him. Here's the 1-1. Winker takes the breaking ball up high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Jesse's okay, by the way. His back, which had been wonky towards the end of the regular season, looked like it flared up on him again in Milwaukee on Thursday. Maybe from slamming that helmet down the way he did when he scored the 4th run. The 2-1 swung on and missed, just overpowered by a fastball pretty well right in the middle of the strike zone. 97 there from Wheeler. Up come the fans, 2 out, nobody on. 1-0 Phillies. We're in the 2nd. Wheeler, glove in front of his face, left leg kick, 2-2 pitch. Check swing, he did not go. Third base umpire James Hoy says, And Winker lives to see another pitch.
A little bit high, a little bit outside. Close, but definitely not a strike. The only question was the check swing, and he barely held up, but he held up.
Wheeler has retired the first 5 batters that he's faced, doing it on a pretty minimal pitch count of 25. I don't know if these fans have sat down yet. Red towels waving. Payoff pitch. In tight, ball 4. And Jesse Winker works out a 2-out walk. It'll bring up Starling Marte. Consider that Zach Wheeler's strikeout to walk ratio the last couple of years in the postseason, 68 strikeouts to just 10 walks. And the fact that he's hard to hit to begin with has meant that he's pitched to a whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, of 0.73. What does that mean? Starling Marte takes down an in-ball 1. Well, it's the lowest in Major League history among pitchers who have faced at least 150 batters in the postseason. Now remember, the postseason until 1969 was simply the World Series. And then divisional play came in, and yada, 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 here we are. Wheeler with a 1-0 to Marte, punched over first, slicing foul. And down the line, the count 1-1. So the Mets with their first walk of the game, brought to you by Total Orthopedics, the experts at getting you back to being you. Phillies 1, Mets nothing. Winker at first, not a realistic threat to run for a number of reasons, not the least of which is his back, or maybe the bigger reason, the guy behind the plate, JT Realmuto. He's still terrific. The 1-1, breaking ball outside, ball 2. You know, JT Realmuto, even though he's been around, he is tied for the fastest pop time in the major leagues among catchers. 2-1 pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball over the mound towards second. Charging his start. He's got it. Throws to first in time. Side retired. No runs, no hits. A walk, 1 left. Middle of the second. On a Schwarber homer, it's the Phillies 1, the Mets nothing. On Odyssey, Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go, Mets!
Here comes the pitch. Foul ball.
For all your home improvement needs, windows, doors, siding, or roofing, visit unifiedwindows.com or call 888-631-2131.
The bottom of the second is the perfect time to brew up a cup of your favorite Bigelow tea and take a moment just for you. Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly.
Hey, baseball fans, check out ThriveWell Infusion. Trusted choice in IV therapy among physicians to experience high-quality care from the highly trained medical staff at ThriveWell. ThriveWell Infusion understands that it can be stressful when receiving an infusion, but it doesn't have to be when you're in one of their private, state-of-the-art infusion suites. Let ThriveWell handle your infusion needs so you can focus on the game. Visit us at ThriveWellInfusion.com. That's ThriveWellInfusion.com. Saving lives drip by drip.
Hey, New York fans. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in New York City's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at a New York City area Verizon store.
Play $10 million cash from the New York Lottery. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Here comes the pitch. Foul ball.
For all your home improvement needs, windows, doors, siding, or roofing, visit unifiedwindows.com or call 888-631-2131.
Before we start the home half of the second here in Philadelphia, let's pause for station identification.
This is Odyssey Met.
You're listening to the National League Division Series on Sirius XM. Join us after the game on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89.
Howie Rose, Keith Rad with you at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, with the Phillies on a Kyle Schwarber leadoff home run against Kodi Sanga. And the bottom of the first inning, gave the Phillies the lead. I chuckle because if you're kind of a casual fan, you know who the players are, but maybe you don't watch or listen to every game, and you heard me say Kodi Sanga, you might have been thinking, what? Where's he been all year? Well, it is highly unusual for a pitcher to have thrown as little as he did during the regular season and then start a postseason game. Only one other pitcher had done it before after making one or no MLB appearances that year. We'll tell you who it is after Bryson Stott, left-hand batter, leans in. And the first pitch, fastball from Sanga, in for a called strike one. You have to go back to 1945 when Virgil Trucks started 2 World Series games. And the only reason he didn't pitch during the regular series, he had just got back from World War II. Here's the 0-1 to Stott. Fastball high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Wasn't bouncing around in a rehab starts in the minor leagues. He was bouncing around Europe, I guess.
I think that the funniest bit of all today was when we were talking to Carlos Mendoza about how he found out that Sanga was going to pitch today, or at least was a candidate. 1-1 the count. Sanga deals. Stott pops it up. Left side of the infield near the mound. Sanga bails. To the left of the mound, it's Vientos who makes the catch, 1 away. Remember, Sanga injured his calf on a pop-up to the right of the mound back in July. And it was a little uncertain whether or not he was going to be involved in that play. And anyway, by the time the catch was made by Pete Alonso, we looked down. And that's where we found Sanga on the ground, writhing in pain.
Not many times do you hold your breath for the pitcher on a pop-up, right? Well, we just did that there, but Sanga's going to survive this one.
Here's JT Realmuto. Right-hand batter, the first pitch on the way. Hit foul back to the screen, 0-1. So anyway, David Stearns, the Mets president of baseball operations, called manager Carlos Mendoza yesterday, said, I got some news for you about Sanga. And Carlos said somewhat with exasperation, what happened? 0-1, I'll tell you why, as this pitch is on the way to Realmuto. It's a fastball inside, 1-1, because there, what would you say, Keith? Maybe as many as a half a dozen false starts this year where Carlos was awaiting word that either Sanga was ready to go out and pitch a full rehab or maybe rejoin the team, and then something happened. The 1-1, Realmuto hits it hard towards third, a foul ball down the line, and the count 1-2.
Yeah, a manager will talk about an injured player, and it'll be steps and steps and steps away, a bullpen, or he's going to go out to a minor league rehab, and there's an update. And even though it seems like nothing, there's an update. By the time it got to about June, July, Carlos Mendoza just said, when he tells me he's good, that kind of thing. It was exasperating.
I don't think they expected to hear he's good yesterday, but they did. And now the 1-2 to Realmuto. Taken high, 2-2. Now, mentioned David Peterson had been walking around as Sanga was beginning to struggle in the first inning, and that I don't think the Mets want to use a starting pitcher to come in during an inning. Well, Sanga is now at 25 pitches, and already Reed Garrett's up in the pen. The 2-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with that forkball. So the third strikeout for Wheeler, or at least for Sanga. 2 men away, and Brandon Marsh coming up. Scoreboard update sponsored by our local Honda dealers. Contact one for a great deal today. American League Division Series, Cleveland Guardians blank the Tigers 7-0. Tanner Bybee and 4 relievers on a 4-hitter. Lane Thomas, a 3-run homer. Brandon Marsh, left-hand batter for the Phillies, swings and misses at the first pitch forkball. It's 0-1. That swing and that location, the fade away from the left-hand batter from the right-hand pitcher, that's what makes it so tough against a left-handed batter, and why Sanga's numbers generally so good against lefties. The 0-1 taken low, 1-1, and so you might be saying to yourself, well, wait, Schwarber's a left-hander, and he hit that ball to the Walt Whitman Bridge in the first inning. But Schwarber's hit the lefties much better than the righties this year. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike of the knees. Good pitch there. A cutter at 91. And the count 1-2.
I think Marsh thought that was a little bit low. But Sanga gets out of this inning. I think it's a good thing for the Mets moving forward to the rest of this series.
1-2. This will be pitch number 30. Sanga deals and missed the inside corner. Just missed it, so much so that Kodi started down the mound towards the third base dugout. But the fork ball missed. It's 2-2. And so Sanga now at 30 pitches. Maybe this or Rojas will be his last batter. Here's the 2-2. Swing on a high fly ball, left center field, into the shade. Nimmo is waiting, and the left fielder, Brandon Nimmo, makes the one-hand catch. Side retired. Probably that's it for Sanga as he gets the Phillies in order, and at the end of 2, it's the Phillies 1, the Mets nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this NFL season.
The back-to-back Super Bowl. Hey you. Yeah, the one that's listening to the MLB playoffs with us. We really appreciate you being here. Please help our community grow. Take a minute to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single MLB playoff game here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Now, if you're already subscribed, we appreciate it. Cheers, Insiders. Now, please share this link out as much as you can. Send it out to the social boards. Put it up on the social media, on Twitter. Get it out there. Let's bring more baseball fans here into the chat to hang out with us during these playoffs. Really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well as hitting that share button. We'll see you guys back in the chat.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
SiriusXM NFL Radio is your home for the National Football League all year long on Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
City Music Hall on March 8th. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. That is only, 5 months away?
Yeah, right? I mean,
6 months away. 5 months away.
We haven't even known where we're going to be next or where we're going to wake up, and that's just been the life of this Mets run now from the end of the regular season into the postseason. And today, the Mets were able to wake up in Philadelphia for the second time. And that off day yesterday was huge for everybody in the traveling party, and I mean everybody in the traveling party, to just get a day. Now, the Phillies had more than a day. They had almost a week. They have a 1-0 lead as we start the third inning. Zach Wheeler has been really sharp, save for a walk to Jesse Winker, but 3 strikeouts, 2 scoreless. Tyrone Taylor, Francisco Alvarez, then the top of the order with Francisco Lindor lead off against Zach Wheeler. Wheeler's been pumping 98, has touched 99 a couple times. And we'll see the righty Tyrone Taylor. Corners in about halfway, middle infield back, Turner and Stott. First pitch from the windup. Taylor stares at a high outside strike at 98. That count 0-1. Taylor had a pretty good series in Milwaukee, 2 for 12. 0-1 on him. The windup, high kick, next pitch. Down and out with a breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Tyrone Taylor sees the second round of the playoffs, if you will. He was a Milwaukee Brewer. He's actually in that wild card series. Last year, the Brewers lost to the Diamondbacks, and so he at least gets to advance wearing a Mets uniform this year. 1-1. Swing and a miss at a high sinker. That's 1-2. So Wheeler, we said, has been pumping 98, 99, that straight fastball. The sinker comes in at 97, a little slower because it's running all over the place, usually into the righties. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with a splitter down and away. 4th strikeout.
Boy, is he
for
dealing.
Zach Wheeler.
He is dealing.
And this is, again, not new. And this is a big part of the storyline, certainly for this series, is that, the Mets are coming in with all this momentum. The Phillies have been sitting here waiting. But you look up and down this roster for the Phillies, they have nothing but postseason experience over the last 2 years. This is not day 1 or 2 like it is for some other guys, like Francisco Alvarez. First pitch to the righty. Breaking ball, nabs the outside corner to the righty. A call 0-1. 1-0 Phillies, top 3 here in game 1. Alvarez in his first 4 postseason games, just 1 for 12. The windup. Now the 0-1. Little tapper back to the mound, grabbed by Wheeler. Sets, slings in time, 2 down. Alvarez retired. Hey, Mets fans, when it comes to heating efficiency, Peerless Boilers and Pavilion tankless water heaters are in a league of their own. So go to peerlessboilers.com for more info. And remember, Peerless Boilers are the world's best built boilers. So Zach Wheeler done with the lineup first time through. He allowed just 1 walk, no hits, struck out 4. Here's Lindor, Mets chasing 1. Switch hitter batting left, lined out to Harper at first, his first time. Pitch, up and in, he leans back from that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-0. As we come to you live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth, Bigelow Tea, grab a mug and tea proudly. Bohm is in at third, rest of the infield back. The 1-0. Swing and a tip into the mitt on an 84-mile-an-hour curve. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Zach Wheeler's heat has been tough to hit, and if he starts introducing the secondary stuff second time through, best of luck. The windup and the 1-1. Fisted in the air toward the mound. Wheeler toward the third base side, makes the catch, moving down the hill toward third, inning over. Got in on Lindor's hands, got him to pop up, and pop right out of the scoreless top half of the third. 1-0 Phillies. We go to the bottom of the third at Citizens Bank Park on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
It ain't a party till the sauce gets involved. That's why Wendy's Saucy Nugs Party Pack is 45-ish nugs slathered in honey barbecue, garlic parm, buffalo, or ghost pepper. Savor the drip of Wendy's Saucy Nugs Party Pack, open till midnight or later. Participating locations only.
Peerless Boilers wants to keep you in heat and hot water. So check out Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers, and Pavilion tankless water heaters, the world's best built tankless water heaters. Learn about both at peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers are the world's best built boiler.
Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop, a proud partner of the Mets. It's a ready-to-drink premium seltzer that comes in 4 gin-based all-natural flavors: citrus, melon, passion fruit, and apricot. Only 3 grams of sugar and 130 calories. Make these playoffs memorable with Gin and Juice, and cheers to a victory.
Discover the excitement at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. Come play 1,000 slot machines and electronic table games. Enjoy on-site entertainment, cocktails, and dining. In October, we're giving away $125,000 during Wicked Wednesdays. One winner every hour from 3 to 7 p.m. will spin for their chance at $5,000. 1 point equals 1 entry. Jake's 58, where Long Island wins.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 8778-HOPE or text NY.
You can count on our friends at Ridgewood Savings Bank to show you the community banking difference with cutting-edge conveniences and a century-long tradition of award-winning service. Ridgewood is the financial partner you can count on today, tomorrow, and all of the years to come. Whether you prefer to bank at your local neighborhood branch, from home, or on the go, they're always here to help you reach your goals. To let our friends at Ridgewood be the full-service banking partner you can count on to support you in your financial journey. Visit ridgewoodbank.com to find out more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
1-0 Philadelphia here in Game 1 of the NL Division Series. Bottom of the third inning is sponsored by Sun Cruiser Hard Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack one open and let the good times cruise. David Peterson now takes over for the Mets after 2 innings from the righty Kodi Sanga. So even though the Mets are not approaching this game like they would if they had a starter going, which is basically the idea that you have a reliever start the game, sometimes of the opposite hand of your actual bulk starter. And even though this is how it ends up working out, you have David Peterson now, a lefty, seeing a lineup with 4 lefties in it. And Peterson comes on to see the last guy in the Phillies order, which is the righty Johan Rojas. But then the lineup will turn over to guys like Schwarber, and then Harper, Stott, and Marsh. Corners are in against Rojas, speedster. First pitch. The righty swings and grounds it foul into the first base dugout. That's where the Phillies reside. On the count 0-1. And again, Vientos and Alonso moving in from the corners. And this is maybe one of the only guys on the roster they would do this for. 0-1 from Peterson. Swing and a miss at a nasty breaking ball. Down and in. 0-2. I think in the series the Mets just played against one of the more aggressive base running and bunting teams, the Brewers. So the Mets, by order of playing the wild card, are prepared for a little bunt defense. And Rojas now calls for time. Rojas has played 13 postseason games over the past 2 years. Just an .093 hitter. Corners move back to about midway between the outfield and infield grass. Pitch. Little tapper toward the mound. Over near second base. Lindor fields, fires, and quickly gets Rojas. Nice play. Slow developing from the ground ball. Meanwhile, Rojas head down, burning up the line. Lindor came down from short and threw him out.
Scouts say that Rojas has plus speed, which means he's a burner.
Lindor got down pretty quickly himself. And David Peterson, who's over 6 feet tall, he's usually liable to go up and grab it, but it was even too high for him, bounding over his head. So here's Schwarber, who made it 1-0. First pitch, just missed outside. Sinker at 93, and the count 1-0.
Schwarber hit 300 against lefties this year. His career, he's just a .222 hitter against them.
The windup, the 1-0. Fisted in the air, shallow center. Lindor out. Taylor coming in. It dunks in. Falls in front of the center fielder Tyrone Taylor. A bloop base hit. So Schwarber 2 hits today. One of them went 425 feet. This one about 200 feet.
I wonder if that might have been somewhat sun-related because the sun was in Taylor's face and he got a late start to that ball. He kind of froze, and it might have been he had trouble picking the ball up off the bat.
Here's Trey Turner, 1-0 Phillies, bottom 3, 1 on, 1 out. Pitch. Pumped in there at the knees for a called strike. So Peterson did pitch in that game on Thursday, picked up his first career save, which also happened to be his first career postseason save. Got the last 3 outs of the game to beat Milwaukee and did it on a double play ball. He could use one right here. 0-1. Bounces up there, blocked by Alvarez to keep the runner at first. 1 ball and 1 strike. And again for Peterson now, this is of course not the 8th of the 9th inning. He can open this up a little bit. The Mets actually have him and a very fully rested Tyler McGill to pick from today. So 3 starters by trade. Going to try to split this game up. Deep breath from Peterson. 1-1. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Good top to bottom action there from Peterson. 1-2 on Turner. It was a free swinger. Certainly connects a lot. That's why he signed a big $300 million deal here in Philly. But he strikes out a lot too. Struck out his first time against Sanga. 1-2. Down and away. Lays off the breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Sanga goes 2 innings. Gives up 1 run on the 1 home run hit by Schwarber. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. 30 pitches for Sanga. And who knows when we see him again. This series or maybe next. 2-2. Turner, it's a ground ball to short. Lindor's got it. Underhand flip to second. Iglesias to first. Not in time. So Turner gets the ground ball, but he beats it out for a fielder's choice. He's on, switching spots with Schwarber. 2 down, runner at first. Here's Bryce Harper.
Looked like Iglesias might have taken an extra split second getting rid of that ball. He didn't have any trouble getting it out of his glove. Took an underhand feed from Lindor, and well, just looking at a replay, if anything, it was just a fraction of a split second, and I don't know would have made a difference.
The infield back around to the right against the lefty, Bryce Harper. 1-0 Phillies. Peterson staring at the runner. Pitch. Breaking balls outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Don't miss a moment at Citi Field 2025. Get the best seats for the biggest games with the Mets season ticket membership. To learn more, visit Mets.com/memberships. Speaking of Citi Field, big watch party again today in Queens. The set. Now the 1-0. Just missed outside with a fastball. 2 balls and no strikes.
A little extra post-game business for Parkside of Corona. Great, famous Italian restaurant.
Runner at first, 2 outs, 2-0. In for a strike. He floated a changeup right down the middle and maybe got away with one to Bryce Harper. There were 6,000 people, I heard, at Citi Field on Thursday. I think they're now selling into the 300 section today at Citi Field. Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Runner at first, 2 down. A throw over there. Turner just dives back in safely. Peterson went with the removal of the back foot and the quick toss instead of the kick and then the throw over. Peterson has a great pickoff move. He does a great job holding on runners. And now the Mets may want to challenge this. So here comes Edwin Moscoso, the first base umpire, going to run over and see James Hoy, the third base umpire, who's the crew chief.
You know, knowing Harrison Friedland from watching him.
Challenging the safe call at first base.
You know, Harrison is the guy who runs the Mets video room, and this early in the game in the third inning, I don't think he would have suggested the challenge unless he was absolutely certain, and I think he might be right.
So they've just shown a replay, a slow-mo, where Pete Alonso is receiving the throw and bringing the glove immediately to the back pocket of Trey Turner. All the while, the glove hits the leg as Turner's oven mitt, that red oven mitt, is reaching for the outside corner of the first base bag. And this is the old, can you fit a credit card in between the oven mitt and the base? I think Alonso, it looked like he got him. And again, you're not going to burn one of your two. Again, you get two challenges in the postseason. You don't really want to burn any of them, but the Mets thought they had it out here.
This early in the game, I think, you know, the tendency is don't use the challenge unless you're really sure. And that's obviously the thinking in the Mets video room.
Tell you what, this crowd who we've heard so much of over the first 2.5 innings, we haven't heard a peep because they've seen this replay a couple times. That should also be an indication that about 50,000 people here, they would have cheered if they thought Turner was back in, and here we go.
After review, the call in the field stands. The runner is safe.
Wow.
New York has one challenge left.
See, that's something because, again, stands is we didn't see either way. We have to go with the call in the field. And the Mets burn one of their two challenges and only have one challenge remaining. Kind of surprised by both the umpire call.
You know, I'm looking at one enhanced picture where it seems like the glove is on the upper thigh before the edge of the oven mitt hits the bag, but
now we play on here, bottom three, runner at first, 2 outs, 2-1 to Bryce Harper, down and away, ball 3.
Must have been a really fat credit card.
So Turner leads off first. Paco Figueroa talking into his ear. He's the first base coach of the Phillies. Alonso holding him on. Infield back, deep breath by Peterson, pitch. Breaking ball misses inside, ball 4. Harper has now walked twice. First and second, 2 outs. And here's Nick Castellanos with the Phillies ahead 1-0, bottom 3. So Peterson, again today, after the outing that he had just an inning last time, he may not go the full 6 or 7 here as the starter, but the Mets again can use him as long as they want to with Tyler McGill, a righty, up. And that's a matchup there with the lefty Schwarber and then Harper that you'd like to win if you're the Mets. Well, Schwarber had a bloop single and Harper walks. But still 2 on, 2 out. Bottom 3, Castellanos the righty digging in. Outfield a touch toward right center against him. First pitch. Swinging a high fly ball to right. Marte racing over toward the corner in front of the track. Makes the one-hand catch. Side retired. So the Phillies get a couple on, but leave them. And we go to the 4th inning in Game 1. Phillies up 1-0 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go, Mets!
Hi, this is Chris from Coldplay.
So we pray for someone to come and show me the way.
Coldplay Radio has returned.
For the release of their new album, Moon Music. And an
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you for hanging out with us during this Division Series MLB postseason matchup. Please hit that like button down below. It helps bring more baseball fans and sports fans here to the chat to help you cheer on your team. Where are you watching from in the chat? Let us know. Say hi and hit that thumbs up button. We'll be right back to the baseball action. We'll see you guys in the chat. Let's have some fun. Let's keep it classy. And good luck to your team. Hope they win and move on to the World Series.
Your home for fantasy football all season long. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Mets fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Mets.
Mets fans, this is Carlos Mendoza, and you're listening to Mets Baseball on SiriusXM.
Seconds, station ID.
This is Odyssey Mets Radio.
You're listening to the National League Division Series on SiriusXM. Join us after the game on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89.
Howie Rose, my name is Keith Rapp. Fourth inning sponsored by Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today. Mets so far have had just one base runner against Zach Wheeler. This is the second time for the lineup. Vientos, Nimmo, and Alonso against Wheeler, who once again looks good. Again, it's no surprise for this Phillies organization that signed him away from 5 years with the Mets. He's already in year 5 with the Phillies. Signed a long extension, $125 million. It kicks in next year. He has been a fixture of this starting rotation. Phillies have also announced, too, that tomorrow they'll be going with the lefty Christopher Sanchez, and they'll be saving Aaron Nola for Citi Field on Tuesday. Mets tomorrow going with Luis Severino. But here in this game one, it is 1-0 Phillies on a Kyle Schwarber home run. Now Mark Vientos leads off. Struck out his first time. First pitch righty to righty. Up and in, missed with a sinker. And a count of ball and no strikes. So second time through this lineup, adjustment time for the Met offense. And this is different too for these guys who saw Wheeler, who was half in the sunshine last time. Here's the 1-0. That's looped toward short into left. A base hit for Vientos. Fights a sinker off into left for a hit. And the Mets have a base runner in this fourth inning. So again, when we started this game at 4:09 officially, Wheeler was in the sun and the hitter was in the shadow. And you could tell Wheeler was taking advantage of that with some high inside fastballs. Got the Mets to chase and expand the zone. And we even saw Brandon Nimmo, who bats now, ask for a pair of sunglasses mid at bat because he was having such a tough time seeing. 1-0 Phillies, tying run on for the Mets. Here is Nimmo. Wheeler sets and fires. Missed in tight, right under Nimmo's elbows. And a count of ball and no strikes. Alec Bohm is in at third. Turner and Stott, the middle infielders, are tight towards second base. Try to double up Nimmo and Vientos with a small lead at first. Held on by Harper. Wheeler tilts the head up and down. The 1-0. Strike on the outside corner. Sinker. And it's 1-1. Zach Wheeler finds himself again in the conversation for a Cy Young, which is an award he has never won. And this would have been the year had Chris Sale stayed in Boston. The 1-1. Nimmo cuts and misses over the off-speed pitch. Perfect time for that. Nimmo was looking heater and got the split. Well, again, had Chris Sale not been in the National League, it would have been Wheeler's award. Over 200 innings, more than 200 strikeouts this year. 1-2 on Nimmo, runner at first. Pitch outside. Missed with the off speed again, tried the changeup. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, so familiar are the Mets with Zach Wheeler. The last time that they saw Wheeler was at Citi Field. A chance for the Phillies to clinch the NL East, and Brandon Nimmo's homer off Wheeler was the difference. The 2-2. High and outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Nimmo, who was put away rather quickly in his first at bat, has run it full with Pete Alonso looming on deck. Phillies 1, Mets nothing, top of the 4th. Towels waving here at Citizens Bank Park. 3-2 pitch. Down and in, breaking ball over his shoes. He walked him. Nimmo is on, and now the Mets, first and second, nobody out. Have big Pete Alonso coming up. Pete struck out on a high heater his first time. And he gets that Philly brotherly love as he walks to home plate here. Again, we've told you this has been certainly, I wouldn't call it a war zone, even though some have called it that on social media, but this has been a whole lot of fun already. First pitch. Breaking ball outside. Ball 1. Wheeler misses again.
Wheeler generally only walks about 2 batters per 9 innings. He's already walked 2, and we're beginning the 4th.
Walk Winker in the second. Nimmo now at first with the second walk. Vientos the tying man at second. The 1-0. Up and in. Ball 2. So things have really changed now. 2-0 on Alonso with Iglesias on deck.
I think the hitters are seeing the ball a little bit better now that most of the field is in the shade. Just a very thin patch of sun in center field.
Wheeler sets, steals the 2-0. Fouled back behind home plate. Fastball up and in, and it's 2-1.
The only glaring sun is in right field.
Now Fox is doing this game on national TV, and they had a camera on the umpire's head, and early in the game you could see with Wheeler in the sun and the batters in the shadows, you could barely pick up the release point. 2 on, the 2-1, swing and a miss. Elevated fastball that might have been in the zone, but it was up, and it's 2-2 on Pete. So this place sounds a little quiet over the last 2 innings or so. They do have a 1-0 lead here in Philly, but now most of them on their feet. Outfielders are deep against Alonso. Here's the 2-2. Strike 3 called outside corner, and up he got him looking. 1 away.
He's shaking his head. He doesn't think so. If it was in the zone, it was right at the top of the zone, but there's a close-up on Alonso as he strolls back to the dugout, and he's muttering, "No way."
That was a lethal pitch. Up outside corner. 1 out. So here's Iglesias. Mets chasing 1. First and second. Corners are in. Middle infield back. Pitch. Inside. Iglesias dances his way out of there. That was a heat-seeking sinker, or I should say a quad-seeking sinker. And Iglesias, who can sing, dances his way out of that first, that righty batter's box. Flew out to center his first time. Outfielders is straight up. The 1-0. In tight, 2 balls and no strikes.
Right now, it's not about OMG. It's about RBI.
Iglesias did have one of those in the Milwaukee series. Was 2 for 14. He actually had kind of the most plate appearances. He and Lindor. He was batting second, now batting fifth again today. The 2-0. Strike on the inside corner. Wow. Iglesias sucked his hands in, leaned out of the way, and then Andy Fletcher called it a strike. Mets did not like that call at all. So instead of 3-0, it's 2-1. Vientos at second, Nimmo at first. 1-0 Phillies. 2-1. Swing and a miss. He chased the breaker down and away. Jesse Winker is on deck. Iglesias, who has been such a great hitter all year, but sometimes he waits till 2 strikes before he turns on another gear. Wheeler sets, 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground to second base, right at Stott. Backhand flip to second to Turner for 1. Throw to first, double play. Iglesias hit it right at Stott, who kickstarts the 4-6-3 double play. Mets had 2 on, nobody out. They do not score. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning in Philadelphia. 1-0 Phillies on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
Diving for that grounder got you grounded? Oof. We've got specialists for that. Coaching Little League leave you in big league pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has the specialized expertise, extensive training from the nation's best programs, and years of experience so you can feel better, faster. Long Island's premier orthopedic group with offices open 7 days a week. Orland & Cohen is now in Kew Gardens, too. Visit OrlandCohen.com.
No matter where you're rooting for the Mets this postseason, 10-1 Rum wants you to elevate your game day lineup with 9 Mets-inspired cocktails.
Hey sports fans, we've made it to the Division Series. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please take a moment to check the link that is pinned in the chat. It is our Sick Kids Fall Drive campaign link. We are raising money for Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. It is near and dear to my heart, as I wouldn't be alive today if it was not for that hospital there in Toronto. So please click that link, check it out, send a donation in if you can to support this awesome channel and this awesome community of Toronto sports fans that we have here, bringing you all of the MLB playoff games. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Good luck to your team, and let's make a difference in the community.
EIC, Equal Housing Lender.
While everyone is listening to the ball game, the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative is hard at work rebuilding our infrastructure. Whether it's transportation, water, or energy projects, ELEC and the Operating Engineers 825 are ready to get to work building our bounce back.
Back in a ruckus Citizens Bank Park, we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Phillies coming up. They have a 1-0 lead. Started the game in the bottom of the first, and a Kyle Schwarber 425-foot Schwarbomb to the second deck and right. Since then, just a couple base runners, a few walks, and a bloop hit. And now David Peterson out for his second inning of work, facing Bohm, Stott, Real Muto, righty, lefty, righty. So the Phillies on their side have had a little bit of traffic. Mets just had their best setup of the afternoon, first and second, and nobody out. And things really changed, certainly when Pete Alonso struck out. But Jose Iglesias, that at bat where he grounded into the 4-6-3 double play. One pitch in there that was inside, the Mets thought, changed maybe the complexion of that at bat, because instead of ball 3 and 3-0, it was 2-1 on Iglesias. So Peterson seeing Bohm, tall lefty, peers over the mitt. First pitch. Bouncing ball to second base, right at Iglesias. He steps into the grab, flips over to first in time. One pitch, one out. Iglesias put that left foot and right foot forward, bent over and picked it between the shoes. Ball now 0 for 2. Scoreboard update brought to you by the New York Lottery. Play the new scratch-off games for your chance to win. Gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Here, bottom 4, it is 1-0 Phillies. And here's Bryson Stott. Left-handed batter. Peterson uncorks. Strike on the outside corner. Fastball, and it's 0-1. So 4 games today, baseball fans, as you obviously know. Game 1 is already done. Cleveland beat Detroit 7-0. That was in Cleveland. 0-1. Strike on the outside corner. 0-2. Now the Tigers, who have been really the darlings of the last couple of weeks getting into the postseason, they don't really have much pitching outside of Tarek Skubal. And so they went with an opener today who faced 4 batters and didn't get anybody out. Guardians scored 5 in the first inning, including a 3-run bomb by Lane Thomas. 0-2. Stott serves it foul down the third base line. Stays 0-2. Thomas was that pickup by Cleveland from Washington. Meanwhile, Tanner Bybee on the Guardians side, he and 4 relievers combined for the shutout. 0-2 to Stott. Missed high, fastball at 94. A ball and 2 strikes. Yankees in Kansas City from Yankee Stadium in about an hour and 15 minutes. Garrett Cole against Michael Wacha. And then the Dodgers and Padres coming up tonight. Next pitch, little chopper foul off Stott's body. Rolls up his back and up the first baseline. But it's still 1-2. For San Diego, Dylan Cease pitching game 1 tonight. And for the Dodgers, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Dodgers and Padres, for that matter, lost some pitching today. Joe Musgrove, Tommy John surgery, done for the year. And the Dodgers just said Clayton Kershaw, he's also done for the year. 1-2. Missed inside. Peterson's fastball, tight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Freddie Freeman's also questionable for tonight. He injured his ankle right at the end of the regular season, just a couple of days before it ended, running through the bag at first base, and he might not be ready.
1-0 Phillies, bottom 4. The 2-2 to Stott. Just missed away. Very, very close. The way Fox had that strike zone set up, that was more of a strike than the pitch to Iglesias, but not my call. It's Andy's call back there. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Outside, ball 4, another walk. Again, one pitch sets up the next. And so the previous one that was close, Peterson went a little too far outside, that time to Stott. And now you have a situation where not only Stott on, but since Peterson has come on, the lefties that he's faced, Schwarber, Harper, Stott, they've all reached, which is the opposite of what you want in that lefty-lefty matchup. 1-0 Phillies, bottom 4. 1 on, 1 out for the righty, JT Realmuto. First toss. Change-up outside, misses for ball 1. Now talking about Padres losing Musgrove, Dodgers losing Kershaw. Who knows the status about Freddie Freeman? This is a war of attrition at this point of the year. The Mets added Kodi Sanga, which is rare to see. Here's the 1-0. Bouncing ball hit weakly toward third. Vientos charges. Only play is to first. He makes the throw in time and on time. Realmuto is retired for the second out. Stott up to second base. And again, the Mets were ready for a double play with Vientos Lindor deep on the left side of the infield. But as Realmuto chopped it down the line, Vientos had to come charging in. Fielded it right by the bag and slung it across. So a big spot for Peterson to try to keep this runner from scoring at second base. Stott has terrific speed. And here's a lefty, Brandon Marsh. So Peterson will try to win this lefty-lefty matchup. 2 outs, bottom 4, 1-0 Phils. Pitch. Hit high in the air to right. Marte moving back to the track in front of the wall. He makes the catch right up against the LED board in right. There's a headshot of David Peterson. It's not smiling, but maybe David, the real Peterson, is smiling because Marte made that catch right in front of the wall. No runs to walk, no errors, 1 left. 1-0 Philly. We go to the 5th on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
In a season already plagued with injuries and underachievers, your fantasy football team is faced with yet another obstacle.
The bye weeks are here! The bye weeks are here!
When your star player takes a week off, listen to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio for winning fantasy football advice.
You got to work the waiver wire. You got to make trades. The draft is just a piece of the puzzle.
Our experts tell you who to play in this time of need.
Now the work really starts.
Your frontline source for fantasy football, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
The new basketball season is around the corner, and SiriusXM NBA Radio is getting you ready by talking to the biggest stars in the game.
Joined now by Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I want to be able to have a shot at winning it all.
Starting Monday night, hear a different team's preview show.
We've got Kevin Durant sitting down with us.
Championship is always the goal.
NBA Radio season preview shows. Every weeknight until the season starts. Only on NBA Radio, Channel 86. And for any interviews or previews you missed, hear them on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday.
1 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Yellowwood 500 from Talladega Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Yeah.
Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
Mets fans, this is David Stearns, and you're listening to Mets Baseball on SiriusXM.
Now, the sun's still out here at Citizens Bank Park, even though the shadows cover about 95% of the field. We go to the top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Philadelphia. And all of a sudden, Howie, we have blinked. Zach Wheeler has thrown 4 scoreless. And Mets try to go after him here again for round 5.
Yeah, certainly not an easy guy to get to, as Wheeler has been just about as dominant today as he has been when he's been at his best. But the Mets have done okay against them. They did beat him at Citi Field right at the end of the last homestand. I mean, does that not seem like a lot longer ago than the 2 weeks it will be? The last time the Mets played at Citi Field was that Sunday night game, the last game of the home regular season, and they beat the Phillies and Wheeler 2-1.
Well, not to be dramatic, but that was the last time I saw my family, Howie.
Yeah,
September 22nd, the last time most of these people have seen their families in the Mets traveling party.
Well, they'd like to ride the bus home tomorrow with at least one here. Jesse Winker leads off. Can't hold up with the first pitch fastball. That's 0-1. That the Mets and Phillies should be embroiled in a tight game is not surprising. Maybe you don't expect low-scoring games often in this park because it's a great hitter's park. The 0-1 broken bat punch to third. Up with it is Bone, and he slings it across in time, 1 man away. But get a load of this. The last 100 games that the Mets and Phillies have played, the Mets have won 50, the Phillies have won 50. The last 1,000 games that the Mets and Phillies have played, the Mets have won 500 and the Phillies have won 500. And that goes all the way back to 1966. So not a lot of breathing room here. But right now, Starling Marte, right-hand batter, grounded out his first time, shows bunt, pulls back and takes outside, ball 1. 1 out here in the 5th inning, which is sponsored by ELEC 825, building our future. Wheeler's 1-0, swing and a miss. And a count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Good sweeper from Wheeler. That's about 10 miles an hour off of what his fastball's been. His fastball's been 97, 98, 99. The 1-1, breaking ball low and away. 2-1 to Marte, who's 3 for 10 so far in the postseason. And he's been hit a couple of times by Wheeler. Remember, the Mets have been hit more than any team in the National League. The 2-1, there's another one, but it got him in the hand. Oh, boy. He has been hit by the pitch, but now Marte slams his helmet down in disgust as he took 95 on the, I can't tell if it's the hand or maybe up the wrist a little bit near the forearm, but trust me, I didn't see that coming. It just happened to segue into the note about the fact that Marte had been hit a couple of times by Wheeler before, and the Mets more than any other team in the league, but that just adds to the total and gives the Mets a very painful one-out base runner.
You can see that Marte's wearing an orange elbow guard and a little bit of protection on his wrist, and this ball hits right between the elbow and the wrist on the forearm. It was a sinker running in, so Marte basically can't get out of the way of this thing, and he slams his helmet down, certainly because he's upset he got hit, but also because this really hurt, and who knows what that means for Marte here, who is still being inspected by the trainer, and right now he's going to stay in with Joe Golia, the trainer, walking him toward home plate. Marte is going to slowly walk up the first baseline the rest of the way, but I remember Starling Marte at the end of the regular season was probably mid-September, was hit on the arm and had to take at least a day to get basically feeling back. And right now, even as he walks up the first baseline, has to try to shake out that left hand as he puts his batting gloves back on. So he's going to at least stay in the game right now.
Yeah, right now is the operative term. Sometimes you get enough swelling there so that it becomes problematic to either grip the bat or throw whichever hand or arm you're dealing with for any particular player. Used to be a substance they would spray on there called ethyl chloride. And I don't know if that's been banned from use. I'm not sure what the deal with, like freeze it, and then you'd hope to get through the game and deal with the swelling afterwards. But anyway, ethyl chloride, ethyl mertz, doesn't matter. Marte's at first, and the first pitch to Tyrone Taylor is in for a called strike. 0-1 as we come to you live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth. Bigelow Tea, grab a mug and tea proudly.
We'll see if Marte is still going to be aggressive enough to try to steal a bag here.
0-1 the count. Now Wheeler throws over, and if nothing else, he makes Marte dive in, hands first, safely. Taylor struck out his first time. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. And he had Taylor out in front. So the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. Another throw to first, and Marte dives back in.
Well, Wheeler probably thinking, okay, I have an 0-2 here. I can go down with a breaking ball, which is a good pitch to run on. I might as well try to surprise and pick off Starling Marte. Now with no disengagements, probably a definite to run.
0-2 the count. Not running, the pitch taken up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Zach Wheeler has pretty much cruised to this point. His pitch count is fine. It's at 66 with 1 out in the 5th inning, and the Phillies leading 1-0. Marte, a decent-sized lead at first. Not running, and the pitch swung on and missed strike 3. Down and in to Taylor with a split. And for Zach Wheeler, his 6th strikeout. 2 men away. And the number 9 hitter, Francisco Alvarez, will be next.
Sinker is hard and in. The splitter is that same action, but much softer down and in. Boy, it's tough to tell when Wheeler's ball is coming at you which angle it's going to break.
So here's Alvarez. Right-hand batter. Tap back to the mound his first time. Takes on the inside corner. A called strike. 0-1. 97-mile-an-hour sinker. I think Alvarez might have thought that pitch was either down or inside as he turned to say something to Andy Fletcher. 1-0 Phillies, 2 out, top 5. Marte still at first. 0-1 to Alvarez, the pitch. Swing and a miss, could not hold off the slider. So, the fans who haven't been standing are coming back to their feet, making it just about unanimous here at Citizens Bank Park, with those red rally towels being waved around. It's quite a sight. 0-2 the count to Alvarez. Here's the pitch. Swing on a liner slicing foul down the right field line. Alvarez shortened his swing there and looked to be going the other way, perhaps somewhat defensively, against a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Wheeler. Again, Marte's lead at first, just about to the edge of the crescent moon-shaped cutout. Not running, the 0-2, downstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Missed with a 96-mile-an-hour sinker. Francisco Lindor is waiting on deck. Mets with only 1 hit. Bloop single by Vientos. The Phillies have 2, including a Schwarber homer. 1-0 Phillies. 1-2 to Alvarez. Outside with a breaking ball, 2-2. Wheeler has already walked 2, about as many as he'll walk over 9 innings on average. Marte, having been hit on the arm by a pitch, still shaking it out at first base. 2-2 to Alvarez. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball, side retired. Good sweeper by Wheeler. 7 strikeouts, no runs, no hits. A hit batsman, 1 left, middle of the 5th. Phillies 1, Mets nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go, Mets!
Bigelow Tea can make the second half of this game even better than the first. Hot or over ice, take a moment just for you. Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly.
Do you need to upgrade your wardrobe this fall? Visit flagandanthem.com for premium quality clothes without the premium price tag. Super comfortable flannels, jeans and quarter zips, even jackets and boots.
Hey you. Yeah, the one that's listening to the MLB playoffs with us. We really appreciate you being here. Please help our community grow. Take a minute to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single MLB playoff game here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Now, if you're already subscribed, we appreciate it. Cheers, Insiders. Now, please share this link out as much as you can. Send it out to the social boards. Put it up on the social media, on Twitter. Get it out there. Let's bring more baseball fans here into the chat to hang out with us during these playoffs. Really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well as hitting that share button. We'll see you guys back in the chat.
Premier Orthopedic Practice. Whether it's a sports-related injury or something far more complex, Total Ortho has locations throughout Long Island with diagnostic equipment on site. Now, Total Ortho Express offers convenient walk-in service with no appointment necessary. Visit TotalOrthoExpress.com. That's TotalOrthoExpress.com, because time doesn't heal wounds, they do.
Now we go to the last of the 5th inning with the Phillies out in front of the Mets 1-0 on Kyle Schwarber's leadoff home run on the 3rd pitch of the game that was thrown by Kodi Sanga. Kodi settled down. He threw 31 pitches. They were going to keep him to 30 to 35 anyway. His first time out. Senga, after allowing the home run to Schwarber, walked Harper in the 1st inning and then got through the 2nd, 1-2-3. So I guess some encouraging signs there for Kodi Sanga. The question now is that how many days will it take until he's good to go again? Because as a starting pitcher who worked for years in Japan, and remember, he's 31 years old, the Japanese teams only use their starting pitchers once a week. Remember last year how Buck Showalter tried to sort of massage the Mets pitching rotation to buy an extra day here or there for Senga? Well, Johan Rojas leads off against David Petersons, whose curveball is in for a called strike. 0-1 as we start the home half of the 5th inning. Rojas grounded to short his first time. He's got elite speed, the corners, even with the bags. The 0-1 swing and a miss at a fastball. And it's 0-2. 92-mile-an-hour heater from Peterson, who has really grown up this year. Between that and just recovering from the hip problem, which required surgery last offseason. The 0-2 on the way, swing and a foul back to the screen. Remember, he was a #1 draft pick by the Mets, but not by the current administration. And a lot of times when an organization drafts someone #1, they give him all the rope imaginable until they feel if the situation permits or demands that it's time to cut ties. This administration had no such loyalty to Peterson, but they're the ones who have reaped the benefits. Here's the 0-2, and a changeup is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Another really close pitch, and Alvarez is turning back to Andy Fletcher to ask where that one missed. It was a curve, so it bent down and it ended up in the dirt, but deep behind the plate in front of the catcher. It might have crossed and been in there for a strike, but not called a strike.
1-2. Here's the pitch. Swing on a chopper up the third base line. Kicks foul. Picked up by Vientos. 85-mile-an-hour slider sponsored by Spectrum. A connection built for everywhere. That's life unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Well, it's almost like a quarterback with a new coach. You have David Peterson here with a new regime, both Mendoza and David Stearns, and they've unlocked something new with him this year.
I think it's called confidence. The 1-2 taken outside. They want to check the swing at first, but he was able to hold up with the changeup, according to first base up Edwin Moscoso. And it remains 2-2.
In years past, where we saw the walks start to snowball, the hits and the runs would follow. This year, a walk usually means double play ball is coming.
2-2 on the way. Fastball fouled off to the right. And that fastball, even though it was at 93, looked a lot quicker to Rojas because the changeup which preceded it. But you're right, that sinker has really been the stock in trade this year for David Peterson. 2-2 on the way. In tight, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just with that sinker there.
Now Rojas, a guy, if he gets on here on 3-2, definitely a threat to run. He's a guy you need to neutralize here for Peterson.
So 3-2 the count. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's low, ball 4. Peterson missed with a sinker. And that will bring up Kyle Schwarber. Johan Rojas stole 25 bases this year for a Phillies team that was 4th in the National League in steals. So you've got the speed of Rojas and now the power of Schwarber, who, as we mentioned, hit the 3rd pitch from Kodi Sanga into the 2nd deck in right field, over 420 feet away. 3rd walk for Peterson, and now Schwarber. First pitch taken low, ball 1. If that seemed like almost an unfair instant strike to the solar plexus by Schwarber, it's certainly not unprecedented in Mets postseason history. 1-0 the count. Pitch to Schwarber. Outside, ball 2. In the 1969 World Series, Tom Seaver started Game 1. His 2nd pitch to Don Buford was hit over the right field fence in Baltimore. A ball that, to this day, Mets right fielder Ron Swoboda says he should have caught. The 2-0 on the way. Breaking ball over a called strike, 2-1. Well, let me tell you something. 55 years later, Ron Swoboda still bleeds Mets blue. Got a text from Ron this morning. It said very simply, "My heart is in every pitch for the Mets." Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
2-1 the count. Quick throw to first, and Rojas dives back in. I was in touch with Ron and Keith Cranepool, Eddie's son, after the game, which ended as dramatically as it did on Thursday night. They were so excited. And I gave them the thought, which I know they've had anyway. It'll be a 2-1 to Schwarber. Rojas runs, pitch fouled back to the screen. So now the count 2-2. I said, you know what, with the losses the Mets have taken to their family this year, and particularly the 1969 team, which just this calendar year alone has lost Buddy Harrelson, Jerry Grody, Jim McAndrew, Eddie Cranepool. Trying to think if I'm leaving anybody out. And then, of course, Willie Mays. He said, you think maybe those guys are getting together up there and cooking up something? The way the Mets have come back to win games makes you wonder. Time called at home plate.
Now you're going from the 1962, then they win it 7 years later, and then they win it less than 20 years later. Now going on 38 years and counting for the Mets. It's amazing that somebody who was around at the very beginning is still hanging on every pitch.
2-2 the count. Now the pitch. Upstairs to Schwarber. Full count. So you got to figure on 3-2 the Rojas will be running here. He has taken off once in this count. It's the Phillies 1, the Mets nothing. The reason why is the batter Schwarber, who homered in the first. 3-2 to Kyle with Rojas at first. Let's see if he's going. He is. And the pitch punched slowly on the ground to second. The play is to first. Iglesias has it, throws out Schwarber as Rojas goes to second. So one away. It'll bring up Trey Turner. And when it's game time, it's Tully time. Next time the Mets are home, and we know now they'll be home on Tuesday, check out the famous Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey Bar in center field, where you can grab a game time mule and try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey in the Honey Surfer cocktail. Tullamore Dew, official Irish whiskey of the New York Mets. Please enjoy responsibly. Turner 0 for 2. First pitch to the right-hand batter. Swing and a miss at the changeup. 0-1. Just a beautiful job of pulling the string there by Peterson. Turner has struck out, reached on a fielder's choice. Again, just about anything hit to the outfield will score the speedy Rojas from second. 0-1. Peterson looks at him. Now the pitch way outside. 1-1 to Turner.
I'll tell you, Tyler McGill out in that bullpen out there is up and down and up and down. He hasn't started throwing yet, but he's waiting in the wings. Peterson at 45 pitches. Not a lot, but maybe one too many walks.
Bryce Harper, left-hand batter on deck. 1-1 pitch. Swinging a high pop-up behind first. Going back is Alonso along the line now into foul ground. Makes the two-hand catch as he backpedals. Hustles the ball into the infield where it's caught by Lindor behind the mound. And that holds Rojas at second. 2 men away. And that will bring up Harper.
I'll remember in Milwaukee when the Brewers were up 2-0 late in that game. They had second and third. Pete went over to the netting along the first baseline and had a pop-up that he didn't make the catch on that he very well could have. Eventually, the Brewers did not score, and Pete, well, did his thing offensively. But that, you could tell he was going back with gusto. 2 hands on that glove when he made the catch down the first baseline.
Any invested Mets fan was thinking of that, I'm sure. And I would imagine that even in a private moment, Pete Alonso would say he was thinking of it too. Meeting at the mound, the entire Mets infield is gathered, and while they finish yakking it up, we'll pause for station identification.
This is Odyssey Mets Radio.
You're listening to the National League Division Series on Sirius XM. Join us after the game on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89.
Philadelphia Phillies 1, Mets nothing. Bryce Harper the batter with Rojas at second, 2 out. Part of that meeting at the mound. Designed to buy a few more pitches for righty Reed Garrett, who is loosening up for New York. Harper's walked twice. First pitch, fastball outside. And the count 1-0 on Harper, who's got a great eye, of course. Always walks a lot. But in spots like these, he has come through often this year with a .331 batting average, men in scoring position. Pickoff play at second, but Rojas dives in safely ahead of the tag from Lindor.
Carlos Mendoza immediately put his hand up, turned back. That's where John Gibbons is on the phone with the replay room. But now the wave by Mendoza to wave off. No challenge for the Mets, even though that was a very close and pretty good pickoff there by Peterson at second.
Lindor practically holding Rojas at second base, where a first baseman would hold a runner. Now the pitch to Harper. Breaking ball swung on and missed. 1-1.
Terrifying swing, is it not? A little violent there from Bryce Harper, a guy who's connected on a few in his lifetime.
That's what he does. He doesn't get cheated. 1-1 the count. Peterson brings the hands together. Now the pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. 1-2. Well, the first one was a curveball, kind of a 12-6. That last one, a sharp, biting slider. And so Peterson, a tough duel here with one of the best in the business. Bryce Harper ahead, 1-2. Phillies 1, Mets nothing. 2 out, last of the 5th. Rojas the runner at second. Lindor right in behind him. Now backs up. Peterson's pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Peterson strikes out Harper with a fastball, who asks home plate ump Andy Fletcher if it was in the zone. Doesn't matter. It's in Alvarez's glove as strike 3, and the Phillies are done in the 5th. A walk, 1 left at the end of 5. Phillies 1, Mets nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets! Gin and juice. Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
A huge Saturday of Division Series action in the Major League Baseball playoffs continues right now from Philadelphia as the Phillies host their NL East rivals, the New York Mets, for Game 1 of their best-of-5 series. SiriusXM MLB Network Radio has the play-by-play action right now on Channel.
Hey sports fans, we've made it to the Division Series. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please take a moment to check the link that is pinned in the chat. It is our Sick Kids Fall Drive campaign link. We are raising money for Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. It is near and dear to my heart, as I wouldn't be alive today if it was not for that hospital there in Toronto. So please click that link, check it out, send a donation in if you can to support this awesome channel and this awesome community of Toronto sports fans that we have here, bringing you all of the MLB playoff games. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Good luck to your team, and let's make a difference in the community.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
You want baseball? The doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Sixth inning, with the Phillies leading the Mets 1-0 in Game 1 of their National League Division Series. The injury update brought to you by the Ruthenberg Law Firm. If you're injured in an accident, the game plan is simple. Just go to injurylawyer.com. Well, Kodi Sanga pitched today, so I don't have to ask any more questions about what he's up to. But now there's some news on Jeff McNeil, whose wife just gave birth a couple of days ago, and Jeff is on his way to Philadelphia. He's expected here tomorrow. Carlos Mendoza says he thinks McNeil's been hitting off a tee, but realistically, I don't know if there's any chance of seeing Jeff anytime soon. I think the Mets' best case scenario would be if they were to beat the Phillies and then close out the National League and win the National League pennant. Maybe we'd see Jeff in the World Series. It's a sweet thought, but it's a long ways away. So Francisco Lindor leads off. Third time around for Wheeler. First pitch taken high, ball one. Lindor lined out to first, hit it very hard in the first inning, but right at Bryce Harper, and then popped out softly to the pitcher, Zach Wheeler. The 1-0 on the way. Inside with a fastball, ball two. Wheeler, by the way, who caught that pop-up, and you don't often see pitchers do it, they trust him. He was the Gold Glove winner for pitchers in the National League last year. Here's the 2-0 on the way. Outside, ball three. So 3-0 to Lindor, who worked out that huge walk to begin the ninth inning rally in Milwaukee on Thursday. He'll take a strike here from Wheeler, if that's what his next pitch is, I would imagine. It's on the way. He takes it, and it is a strike. A fastball, and it's 3-1.
Well, he's already gotten a ridiculous amount of swings and misses. In fact, the most ever in the pitch tracking era by a Phillies pitcher. The last guy to get as many swings and misses is a guy by the name of Roy Halladay back in 2011.
Here's the 3-1. Fouled straight back and out of play, a full count. I wonder if that game, was that the perfect or the no-hitter that he threw, by the way, in the postseason, Halladay? I think it was against Cincinnati, right? But in any event, I wonder if that was a 4 o'clock start, too. Because that's going to factor in. It has to. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Outside, ball four. So Wheeler misses with a change, and the Mets get the leadoff man on. The third walk, more than he'll usually give up in 9 innings. Allowed by Wheeler here as we begin the sixth.
Well, just to finish the question, it was not the no-hitter. It was an NLDS game that the Cardinals won 1-0 eventually, but this is the third time through. So all those swings and misses happened very early. Can the third time through open up some adjustments for this Mets offense? So far, Lindor gets a better look and gets on with a walk.
Well, here's the guy the Mets call Swaggy, Mark Vientos. I like the swagger he walks with and the way he dresses. First pitch on the way, a fastball for a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Told you he wore a great-looking suit in Atlanta the other day, and I was shocked to learn, as Mark told me this earlier today, that is the first suit that he's ever owned. 0-1 the count to him. The pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball foul near Nimmo in the on-deck circle, and it's 0-2.
Probably not his last suit that he will ever own.
No.
Swaggy V.
You bet. Mark's just a delightful kid who knew all along that he had what it takes to get to where he is now. But he's had quite a few hurdles over the last few years, and he has leaped over them all this season. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Wheeler with his 8th punch out gets Vientos for the second time. One away, it'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Brandon Nimmo. And Mets baseball is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact a dealer for a great deal today or visit tryhondadealers.com. So now Nimmo, the number 3 hitter, who has struck out and walked in 2 plate appearances. First pitch. Taken low, ball 1. He's in the heart of the Mets lineup, powered by 10-to-1 Rum. Elevate your game day experience with 10-to-1 Rum's lineup of Mets-inspired cocktails. 10-to-1 Rum, a proud partner of the New York Mets. 1-0 to Nimmo. Lindor, decent-sized lead at first, not a huge one. And the 1-0. Nimmo hits it high in the air behind second base, shallow center. Stop the second baseman out on the grass, makes the one-hand catch, and there are 2 men away. And that will bring up Pete Alonso. Mets have only had 1 hit against Wheeler. That was Vientos' bloop single in the 4th. Alonso has struck out twice, once swinging at first inning heat, and then he took a called third strike his last time up, and he wasn't buying it. Walked to the dugout saying, no way, no way. So Lindor still at first, and a throw over. First disengagement on this plate appearance. Lindor dives back in. There's been less and less talk about Lindor's back over the last few days. Not that it's feeling all that much better than it was in Milwaukee necessarily. Pitch to Alonso, swing and a miss at a high fastball, and the count 0-1. But he just credits, and I mean, he gives them glowing reports. The performance staff for the work that they've done, led by Brian Chiclo, Joe Golia, the trainers, Ryan Baca. Lindor bluffs, doesn't go. A fastball taken high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Second time he has bluffed. This one a little bit harder than the last one, and actually one that it looked like from all the way up here in our booth, he got a really good jump, just didn't pull the trigger. Matt Strahm, the lefty, getting loose now in the Phillies bullpen.
Wheeler at 86 pitches, 1-1 the count. Now the pitch. Alonso takes high, 2-1. As 94-mile-an-hour fastball, just a little bit over the zone, and Pete ahead in the count here, 2-1. Bohm, the third baseman, not too far off the line at all. The outfield straightaway. 2-1 pitch. Alonso fouls it back to the screen. He was out in front there. And the count 2-2. That last one, the sweeper from Wheeler, and it fooled Alonso. Pete just got a piece of it. So back up come the fans in this packed house at Citizens Bank Park. Alonso has taken his timeout. With the count 2-2, not waiting for the full count. And most hitters take their timeouts. Lindor stretches the lead out at first. Wheeler ready. The 2-2 to Alonso. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Side retired. The split from Wheeler punches out Alonso. Third time today. Struck out Pete. 9 strikeouts for Wheeler. No runs, no hits. A walk, 1 left. Middle of the 6th. The Phillies won. The Mets nothing. On Odyssey Mets Radio. Driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
New York Community Bank is now Flagstar Bank. We're the same friendly faces, same great service, and same local branches. Only now we have an all-new name, all-new look, and even more banking solutions. Flagstar Bank. Let's align the stars. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Peerless Boilers wants to keep you in heat and hot water. So check out Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers, and Pavilion tankless water heaters, the world's best-built tankless water heaters. Learn about both at peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers are the world's best-built boiler.
Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser Hard Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka, it's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. When you need a little sun in your life, nothing hits quite like a Sun Cruiser. Crack one open,
and let the good times cruise.
Sun Cruiser Beverage Company, Boston, Mass. Please drink responsibly.
There's nothing quite like.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you for hanging out with us during this Division Series MLB postseason matchup. Please hit that like button down below. It helps bring more baseball fans and sports fans here to the chat to help you cheer on your team. Where are you watching from in the chat? Let us know. Say hi and hit that thumbs up button. We'll be right back to the baseball action. We'll see you guys in the chat. Let's have some fun. Let's keep it classy. And good luck to your team. Hope they win and move on to the World Series.
Luxury Automotive Group in New Jersey and New York. Their game plan is simple. It's to always put the customer first with legendary customer service and the brands they trust the most. Mercedes-Benz, Lexus, Audi, Porsche, BMW, Land Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, Mini, and Sprinter. Visit a Ray Catena dealership or go to raycatena.com. Well, we go to the bottom of the sixth inning, game one of this National League Division Series. And so far, Kyle Schwarber's first inning home run holds. It is 1-0 Philadelphia. Now the Mets will go to their conventional bullpen in what has been an unconventional pitching day to be sure, with Kodi Sanga pretty much popping up out of nowhere to make the start. Gave up the homer to Schwarber on the third pitch that Sanga threw, and that was it as far as any hits off of Senga, who went 2 innings. Then the usual starter, David Peterson, was asked for 3 innings out of the bullpen. He delivered nicely. 3 1-hit, no run innings, walking 3, striking out 1. So now Reed Garrett, who pitched a scoreless inning in game 2 of the division series on Wednesday night in Milwaukee, faces Nick Castellanos, right-hand batter for the Phillies. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Starting him off with a fastball. It'll be Castellanos, Bohm, and Stott. Middle of the order for the Phillies. 0-1 the count. Now the pitch. Outside and low, 1 ball and 1 strike. A sweeper from Garrett, who has had success this year because of that pitch and his split, which will be even more effective against lefties. But hitters started to lay off that pitch around mid-season. Garrett had to adjust. The 1-1, there's the split, swung on and missed. He swung right over that.
I think bounced on the plate. That was nasty.
Gorgeous pitch, even if it wasn't necessarily the kind that will blow a hitter away with 10 more miles an hour of smoke than he had on it. It's a 90-mile-an-hour splitter, but it sure gets the job done. Castellanos had to step back and think, really? And now it's 1-2. Bohm on deck. Then Stott. Here's the pitch. Little bit low. So 2-2 as he missed with another split. Garrett brings the hands together. Holding that set. Down to 1. He just gets it in, and it swung on and missed, strike 3. So he winds up getting him with a split. But I'm telling you, that pitch count was just about expired when he delivered that ball.
I'll tell you, it added to it because I don't think Castellanos thought he's going to come with another splitter. He had just fooled him on one, bounced another. Okay, maybe he'll try something else. He went right back to it. And maybe the clock going down to 1 was also in Castellanos' mind, pulling his attention away.
Now Alec Bohm, who is 0 for 2. He had a hand injury late in the regular season. First pitch to him, taken off the outside corner, 1 ball and no strikes. He had a terrific year offensively. 9th in the league in runs batted in. He'd have driven in well over 100 if he hadn't gotten hurt. He drove in 97 with 15 homers. 1-0 on the way. Bouncing ball along the third base line. Fair ball picked up by Vientos behind the bag. Throws to first in time. And there are 2 men away. So Garrett's got the first 2. Bryson Stott coming up. Scoreboard update from Food Bazaar. Shop local, eat global with Food Bazaar Supermarket. FoodBazaar.com. Cleveland took the division series opener in the American League from Detroit 7-0 in Cleveland. Lane Thomas a 3-run home run. Here's Stott, left-hand batter. He's popped out and walked. And the first pitch taken off the outside corner, ball 1. Yankees home to the Royals. They've got a great playoff history going back to the 1970s of some extremely intense games. Michael Wacha against Garrett Cole. The 1-0. Take it low, 2-0. So Garrett Cole and Michael Wacha. And then in Los Angeles, the Padres and the Dodgers. Dylan Cease against Yoshi Yamamoto. 2-0 the count. The pitch to start. Swinging a bouncing ball along the first baseline, foul. Rolling down the line.
That was Cosell, right? Chris Chambliss has won the American League pennant for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, except one problem. It wasn't his call. It was Keith Jackson making the call, and Cosell stomped all over him as though he was trying to put out a fire. 2-1 the count. The pitch swung on and fouled into the mid of Alvarez, and it's 2-2.
That's not nice for another Keith out there. Keith Jackson, a legend.
Tell you what, Keith Jackson took a lot of heat from Mets fans in 1986. All fans think that a network broadcaster is rooting against their club. I hate to get into that mud, but boy, Keith didn't sound too excited about anything the Mets did that year. I got to be honest with you. 2-2 to start. The pitch, swinging a little roller out in front of the plate. Alvarez chucks the mask, has the ball, throws to first in time. Side retired. Oh, Nelly. It is Saturday afternoon. Nothing across at the end of 6. Sorry, Keith Jackson. It's the Phillies 1, the Mets nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go, Mets!
For the first time since being named head coach of the U.S. men's national team, Mauricio Pochettino sat down with SiriusXM FC's Ray Hudson and Charlie Stilitano.
We are going to walk to the 2026 World Cup with the idea to win. We are the first that we need to believe and to dream big. As in football, if you are not capable to dream, it's impossible to achieve good things.
To hear the full interview with the new national team head coach, listen on the SiriusXM app. Just search FC.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, channel 159.
Now through November 1st, SiriusXM is giving away a pair of tickets to every MLB postseason game through the World Series. Listen to MLB Network Radio for the clues and be the first caller to correctly name the postseason hero, and you'll receive a pair of tickets to an MLB postseason game. MLB Network Radio has your chance to win on SiriusXM 89 and the all-new SiriusXM app. No transportation will be included in connection with these prizes. For full contest information and official rules, visit SiriusXM.com/MLB postseason heroes. No purchase necessary. Open only to current SiriusXM subscribers prior to September 22nd. Must be a U.S. resident over the age of 18.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the SiriusXM app and tell me to play the Mets on SiriusXM.
SiriusXM NFL Radio is your home for the National Football League all year long on Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
There has been dealing, and the Mets find themselves down 1-0. They've been trailing ever since Kyle Schwarber hit the third pitch of the game from Kodi Sanga into the second deck in right field. And the Mets just haven't been able to really get much of a sniff against Wheeler unless he's walked them. In 6 innings, he's allowed just 1 hit, a Vientos single. He's walked 3, hit a batter, struck out 9. So the Mets, in the midst of the third time around against Wheeler, will have Iglesias, Winker, and Marte up as we go to the 7th inning, Keith.
Tell you what, Rob Thompson, the manager for the Phillies, has had his bullpen up-ish for the last inning plus. They had Matt Strom, a lefty, up during that 6th. Looks like a righty is up right now for Philadelphia. But truly, the dream for the Mets is if Zach Wheeler came out of the game, which is why Rob Thompson's going to keep Zach Wheeler for now in the game, even though he's getting later and later into his outing. Jose Iglesias leads off, 1-0 Phillies, top 7. First pitch. Swinging a foul ball off his foot going to the backstop, and the count 0-1 on Iglesias. Again, followed by Winker and then Marte. And looks like Jeff Hoffman, the righty, is the one getting up for the Phillies.
That is one tough back end of the bullpen they've got.
You know it. 0-1. Reached for, cut on, and missed. Breaking ball down and away, a splitter, and it's 0-2. Jose Alvarado was their closer. He still is part of that back end of the bullpen, but Carlos Estevez, somebody that the Phillies traded for from the Angels, finished up the year as their closer. They have a lot of nasty arms, different looks, guys that all seemingly throw 100, waiting in the wings behind Wheeler. 0-2 on Iglesias. Downstairs, missed with another split. It's a ball and 2 strikes. So again for Wheeler, his pitch count is at 92. And if you know anything about Zach Wheeler, he doesn't care about where he is in the game. He wants to go the distance every single time. He's probably not going to do that today, but he doesn't really get tired kind of thing. 1-2 on Iglesias. Kick and the pitch. Bouncing ball pulled foul down the third base line, and it's 1-2. And again, the Mets are going to see Wheeler today, Christopher Sanchez tomorrow, Aaron Nola in Game 3. Rangers Suarez supposed to go in Game 4. Again, you never know what it looks like when we get that far, but all guys that can go very, very deep into the game. 1-2 again. Fought off in the air towards second. Stott moving over to his left. Makes the catch. Second baseman's got it. 1 away. A pretty textbook play right there from Bryson Stott. Brought to you by Malloy University. At Malloy, you'll think about your future in a new way. And the Mets in the future would love to see somebody else, but for the present, they still struggle with Zach Wheeler. And there's the boos for Jesse Winker. 1-0 Philly. We told you, Carlos Mendoza told us, well, he gets booed everywhere he goes, so he's used to it. Now Winker is walked and grounded out. First pitch righty to lefty. Missed up and in with ball 1. Tell you, Jesse Winker again continues to be the guy that you want on your team, and you can't stand him when he's on the other team. That he feeds off of, truly. I saw that in Milwaukee the other night. The 1-0. Down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. In fact, when Winker, after Pete had hit the homer, 2 batters later, the way he got on, he got hit by a pitch. And maybe he shouldn't have taken it personally, but between you and me, he took it a little bit personally, because by the time he came home to score, he slammed his helmet down. 2-0. Swing and a miss at an elevated fastball. That was the pitch right there. And Winker cut right through a 93 for strike 1. Winker, that long hair flowing out of the back of his blue helmet in the lefty batter's box. 2-1 on him. Wheeler winds, kicks, and fires. Up and in, 3 balls and 1 strike. Now Marte, a righty, is on deck, and the question is, would Rob Thompson then go to Jeff Hoffman? Wheeler right now is at 98 pitches. All the Mets need is an opening here, trying to get a base runner. Down 1, the 3-1. Swing and a miss, tied him up with 97. Winker just simply softly brought what looked like a check swing all the way through. As if he was trying to fight that ball out of the sand in golf. Just pushed right through. Not a great swing from Winker. Fans here at the bank, as they call it Citizens Bank Park, on their feet, waving those red rally towels, swirling them overhead. 1 out, 7th inning, 1-0 Philly. Wheeler's payoff. Up and in, he walked him. So Winker twice today has walked against Wheeler, and we mentioned at the outset, Winker, lifetime in the regular season, 0 for 10 against Wheeler, but he had 2 walks. Now he has 2 more walks. And so as he gets to first, here's Marte and Rob Thompson. This is decision time because Winker at first base, and Wheeler is at 100 pitches right now. He's going to stick with Wheeler against Marte. 1-0 Philly. Pitch. Marte slashes it foul to the right, and the count 0-1. We are coming to you live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth. Bigelow Tea, grab a mug and tea proudly. Marte last time up got hit on the left forearm and obviously has stayed in the game, but he was really hurting. Winker was small lead at first. Middle infield back. Wheeler deals. Missed high with a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now by now, Hoffman, who's out there in center field to the right of the hedges of the batter's eye here in Philly, he looks like he's ready to go at any moment. Wheeler has been tough all day. He's given up 1 Mets hit. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. High heat. He has lived there up in the zone all day. That's how it started in the first inning when he blew it by Vientos. Struck out Nemo. Struck out Alonso. And with 1 more strikeout, Wheeler would have 10. Del Marte steps out, now climbs back in. Tying man at first. One out, top of the 7th. Wheeler's set, first base side of the rubber. Rests, holds. Now the 1-2. Hit high in the air, softly, left field. The shortstop Turner going out, makes the catch. 2 down. Well, you can see Rob Thompson walking, talking, deciding with his crew there, his cabinet, so to speak. Caleb Cotton, the pitching coach, going to the bullpen phone. Now they're going to see if Hoffman is ready, but for now, Tyrone Taylor's going to hit.
In case you're wondering, the Mets have no flexibility on the bench in terms of left-hand hitters. Martinez, Acuna, Bader, Torrens, all right-hand batters form their bench.
Pitch to Taylor. Strike pierces the outside corner at 98 miles an hour. Now this works two ways for Rob Thompson. He's up 1-0 against the Mets. If Wheeler can get out of this inning, that would be a huge momentum lift to this entire environment. Runner at first, 2 outs, 0-1. Strike 2, outside corner. Once again, Andy Fletcher gives Wheeler a ball outside. Tyrone Taylor cannot believe it. Shot a look to Fletcher, shook his head, has climbed back in. 2 outs, 2 strikes, tying run at first. 7th inning, 1-0 Philly. 0-2. Check swing pitch up. Did he go? No. Edwin Moscoso at first says no swing. Winker at first base has turned to talk to Antoine Richardson, the first base coach. 2 days ago, Winker stole second in Milwaukee. Has now moved a smidge after reaching. 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch. Outside with a breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And as this at bat continues, you can feel that this is probably it for Zach Wheeler. He gets through it. That's 7 scoreless. Taylor reaches. Thompson will go to his bullpen. 1-0 Philadelphia. Towels waving here at the bank. 2-2 to Taylor. Outside again. Ball 3. So full now. And with 2 outs, Winker will be moving. And the guy on deck, Francisco Alvarez, strapping up his orange batting gloves.
Marsh and Rojas, excellent arms in the outfield. Castellanos, not quite as much.
3-2 on Taylor. Wheeler set. Runner goes. Pitch is fouled back behind home plate. Tried to go with his best pitch, the bread and butter all day. That high fastball, maybe up for ball 4. But Taylor had to protect. Stays alive.
One other place the Mets will be aggressive. Castellanos does not get a great break in on fly balls. And should a ball drop in front of him with a runner going, they've got a chance to take an extra base or even 2, depending on where it is.
1-0 Philly. Top of the 7th. Tying run at first. 2 outs. There goes Winker. 3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball toward the middle. Turn it to his left. He's got it. Slings to first. In time. Inning over. Zach Wheeler, tough as nails again today. The former Met, 7 scoreless for Philadelphia. 1-0 Phillies, middle of 7th. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Gin and Juice Ready-to-Drink Cocktail, a lightly carbonated seltzer and an official partner of the New York Mets.
By now, you should know I can't get a game started without my mug of Bigelow tea. For me, it's Bigelow green tea that keeps my voice going. No matter how hectic your day gets, grab your favorite Bigelow tea and take a moment just for you. Bigelow tea, the official tea of Odyssey Mets Radio.
No one plans on heart problems, but everyone should have a plan for them. At RWJ Barnabas Health, we help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. With the latest technology and a highly specialized team of nurses, cardiologists, and surgeons, our network offers the most complete heart and vascular care in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. Visit rwjbh.org/heart.
Michelin Winter Tires offer confidence in all types of winter conditions. And Town Fair Tire offers every long-lasting, fuel-efficient Michelin tire at the guaranteed lowest price. Plus, Town Fair gives you the most free services for life with your purchase of Michelin Winter Tires that keep you going for years to come. With a guaranteed best deal on Michelin tires, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. And I mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Kickboxing knock out your knee?
We've got specialists for that. Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has the specialized expertise, extensive training from the nation's best programs, and years of experience to tackle each of your orthopedic needs so you can feel better, faster. Locations across Long Island, open 7 days a week, and now open in Kew Gardens as well. Visit orlandcohen.com.
Back in Philadelphia, 1-0 Phillies. I'll tell you, the Mets, to be honest, they're getting wheelered right now. 7 scoreless, 9 strikeouts. He's probably done. He's over 100 pitches. But really, if the Mets, if they've learned anything, and believe me, they have learned something, especially 2 days ago in Milwaukee, they had 2 outs to go in their season, down 2, and they came back to win. I asked Carlos Mendoza about that today. Just what does belief feel like? And the Mets do think, and they feel that they are never out of it, despite the fact that, well, for 7 innings today, Zach Wheeler was on, and the Mets offense was the victim. So, as we go to the bottom of the 7th, the batters are Real Muto, Marsh, and Rojas, 7, 8, and 9, against Reed Garrett, who tossed a scoreless, perfect 6th inning. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Mets. So the Mets offense will have 9 outs to work with, again chasing 1, and Reed Garrett's job right here in the bottom of the 7th inning is to keep it 1-0, keep the status quo. And Garrett made his postseason debut in Game 2 of the wild card against Milwaukee. Garrett had pitched 2 innings before Phil Maton. That was his Game 2, by the way. This is the game that Maton ended up giving up, shockingly, the 2 home runs in the 8th inning. So Garrett pitching great so far, trying to keep that up against Real Muto, Marsh, and Rojas. Right now, this crowd is certainly on its feet in a lot of different places. The sun is starting to set. You can see Center City out in the distance, way beyond center field. A couple miles away, you can see the skyline of Philadelphia with the sun out. Some purple and gray clouds dotted right over the skyline out there. And all these games will kind of feel like this as far as the sun and the weather. Tomorrow is also a 4 o'clock Eastern time start, and then Tuesday was announced to be 5 o'clock, so right around the same time for all games. And the reason that you can thank Fox for that is for Shohei Ohtani in prime time for the Dodgers against the Padres. This is certainly prime time for both of these cities. Here is Real Muto leading off the 7th. Again, Phillies up 1-0. Garrett fires, delivers a strike, 0-1. And if you weren't with us in the very beginning, bottom of the 1st inning, 3rd pitch of the game, Kyle Schwarber hit a solo tank to the 2nd deck in right field off Kodi Sanga, 425 feet away. 0-1, bouncing ball down the 3rd baseline. Vientos has got it, up with the throw to 1st, in time, 1 down. So that's the Power Report, sponsored by Bill Vince's Bridgewater Acura on Route 22 in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Now, Schwarber is due up 4th this inning, and the Mets are hoping it doesn't get that far. But if it does, they feel that Reed Garrett, again, as Howie mentioned, the splitter can act as a deterrent for left-handed hitters. Nobody throwing in that Mets bullpen either. Here's a lefty, Brandon Marsh. 1-0 Philly. Pitch. Fastball outside. Misses for ball 1. Marsh last time up, this is against David Peterson, who went 3 scoreless. Hit a ball to the right field wall that just missed getting out. Marte made the catch right in front of the fence. The 1-0. Pops the glove on the outside corner. A cutter that lands for strike 1. 92-mile-an-hour cutter from Garrett, who can turn the dial all the way up to 98, 99 with his 4-seam fastball. Bearded right-hander comes set. Black glove against his chest. 1-1. Outside. Missed with a splitter. 2 balls and a strike.
Garrett, by the way, has not turned in 2 full innings of relief since May 12th. Or check that, May 19th in Miami.
Nods yes at 3rd base side of the rubber. 2-1 on Marsh. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Good-looking fastball down in the zone at 96. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Carlos Mendoza said that about some position players, but mostly about relievers, or Diaz, or Garrett, whoever it may be, Buto. He's protected them all year, and now playoff time, go. Give it everything you have. 2-2. Marsh hits a little tapper left side. Vientos cuts off Lindor. On the run, flings high, but in time to first for the second out. Alonso had to reach the glove high while also making the stretch. And all the while, as Mets got the second out, Mark Vientos has a big smile on his face. You can't wipe that smile off his face, Howie. That's the second out.
It's been so much fun getting to know him over the last few years. You know, he came to one of our spring training sponsors dinners a couple of years ago, and usually it's, you know, the guys that either are going to be in the minors, have a slight chance to make the team, who were there.
Pitch to Rojas, chopper foul over near Vientos, strike one.
So getting to know him then, kind of a shy kid relative to what he is now anyway. I just think he didn't really know anybody. Now, he's pretty confident.
He's in line with the bag at third. Lindor and Iglesias back. Next pitch, in for a strike. Good looking pitch there from Garrett, a splitter that acted kind of like a sinker running up and in. You don't want to hang that splitter. That's a bad idea, but he landed it on the high inside corner. Tough to get a handle on that for Rojas. So Garrett a strike away from going 2 perfect innings of relief. 1-0 Philly, bottom of the 7th, here in game 1 of the division series. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Now the pitch. Down and out. Try the splitter low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Kyle Schwarber is on deck, and nobody is up in that Mets bullpen, which kind of leads me to believe, what will the Mets do with a fresh and active Tyler McGill? Will they pitch him today, or just save him and stock him for tomorrow behind Severino? Garrett set again. The kick in the 1-2. Hit in the air left field, not deep. Nimmo back a couple of steps, takes a step in and makes the catch. These fans haven't seen a ball that far in a while. But Nimmo right there to make the grab, and we go to the 8th. Just 1-0 Philly on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Hey, it's Andy Cohen. Are you a pop culture fanatic like us? Then Radio Andy is your ultimate pop culture destination. From news-making interviews,
I read that Gronk thought that he was going to be in the movie more.
I wish I was in the NFL more.
The deepest dives, high-intensity moments, the hottest takes,
the biggest stars, and all the drama.
I apologize, but I'm not sorry at all.
The ultimate pop culture destination, Radio Andy, Sirius XM 102, and on the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
For the latest updates on Helene, tune to alerts from the Weather Channel. What to expect and who may be impacted.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori. When severe weather is impacting any part of the country, alerts from the Weather Channel for live simulcast of the Weather Channel for the latest information to keep you safe and informed.
Tune to alerts from the Weather Channel for the latest information on Helene.
Whenever active weather is breaking, alerts from the Weather Channel on the SiriusXM app. Just search weather.
Mets fans, this is Carlos Mendoza, and you're listening to Mets Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sirius XM NFL Radio is your home for the National Football League all year long on Channel 88 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We go to the 8th inning of Game 1 of the National League Division Series here at Citizens Bank Park. Here's the crowd figure for today, 45,751. Everybody got a red towel, despite the fact that underneath those red towels, in a couple of spots here, are some blue and orange fans just waiting to try to break out. Well, the good news for those fans and for the Mets, Zach Wheeler is done. Mets are happy about that, but the Phillies thrilled about 7 scoreless with 9 strikeouts. And Howie, here are the Mets again. Maybe this is what they want, right? They wait to the very end, down by a run or two. It's only 1-0 this time. Can they pull out a rabbit out of their hat again, just like they did 2 days ago?
I guess you could say the Mets have the Phillies where they want them, given what they've been coming up with in terms of dramatics recently. But they've got a tough task ahead of them because this is a great bullpen. And they're going to face Jeff Hoffman here in the 8th inning, a guy who they actually got to a little bit with some help from shoddy Philadelphia defense in a game here in mid-May. Francisco Alvarez leads off against him, and Hoffman's first pitch, swing and a miss at a fastball, 0-1. In that game on the 16th of May, Tyrone Taylor reached on an error to lead off the 8th inning against Hoffman, and the Mets would later score runs on an RBI single by Bader. The 0-1 line towards short, past Turner, base hit, going into left center. Hustling over to get it is Rojas. Alvarez aboard with a leadoff single. And the Mets have just their second hit of the game. The other one was Vientos, a single in the 4th. Alvarez aboard to lead off, and immediately here comes Harrison Bader to run for him.
We've seen this before from the Mets. Of course, the late inning rallies, but a lot of times this would come at the back end of a dominant starter. And this is how you know the Mets just didn't match up well against Wheeler. The next guy in, first batter against the next guy, is a base hit.
So to the top of the order now. And Francisco Lindor. 7 one-hit shutout innings from Wheeler. 4 walks, 9 strikeouts and a hit batsman. But now the Mets looking to do damage against Hoffman. First pitch to Lindor. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Good slider there. Lindor today has lined to first, popped out to the pitcher, and drawn a walk. So Bader, pretty short lead at first right now with Harper holding. Now Bader stretches it out. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss at a pitch out away. I don't know if that was a slider. Looked like it was. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. So quickly, Lindor in a hole here. Mark Vientos on deck. Now Hoffman sets of the belt. The 0-2. Swing and a foul. He just got a piece of it. That ricochet off of both Real Muto and the home plate umpire. It looks like it hit 2. There were 2 changes of direction there.
I think that pitch
might hit
bounced.
the door too. I don't know.
I think it bounced and then he swung and just got a piece. Now showing the replay of the previous pitch. That pitch bounced, Howie, in front of home plate, and Lindor somehow got a piece of it. Wow.
So there are your 2 changes of direction. Mets want to change the direction of this game here. Bader leading from first. The 0-2 to Lindor. High, a fastball, 1-2. Don't forget, stay tuned after the game for the Verizon Mets postgame show. Verizon, the network New York City relies on. Antoine Richardson, the first base coach, leans in to have a word with Bader. Rojas in center, a couple steps the other way. He's got good speed to cover both gaps. Throw to first, but Bader dives back in. Off the move, it looked like it was going to be close, but Hoffman's throw to first was high, and that gave Bader time to dive back in. One of the things that Richardson is telling Bader, approximate times to the plate for Hoffman. Over all that stuff before the game. The 1-2, breaking ball on the dirt, 2-2. Just bounces off of Real Muto, rolls behind him, a drop. And again, Richardson goes in to talk to Bader. It's not as simple as you might think. He's not just telling him don't get picked off. They have all kinds of information between the pop times of Real Muto, the pitch tendencies of selections in certain counts, what he's likely to throw if you're thinking about running. 2-2 the count, not running the pitch. High, ball 3. Well, now you got to think, will he run? 3-2 the count to Lindor. Well, the Mets look to push the envelope here. Hoffman struck out 89 batters in 66 and a third innings, so you fear the strikeout. But Bader has a decent-sized lead. Hoffman to the belt, not running the pitch. Outside, ball 4. And the Mets are open for business here in the 8th inning. A single to Alvarez. Bader runs for him, takes second on the walk to Lindor, and Mark Vientos will be next.
Well, Lindor, this entire postseason, it's been more walks than hits, and it works the same way. A walk is as good as a hit, like they'd say in Little League. He has 2 hits this postseason and 6 walks. such a big one the other night in Milwaukee. This one could be just as big.
Now Vientos, who is 1 for 3, he is singled and twice struck out. Caleb Cotham, the pitching coach, is going to pay a visit to the mound.
Believe they are getting Matt Strom up again. Of course, Vientos is a righty here, but behind that you have not only Nimmo, but then after Alonso and Iglesias, Winker. But it looks like it's going to be basically Rob Thompson getting Matt Strom up for that Nimmo at bat, because you can just see it if you put your manager hat on after Alonso and Iglesias. I mentioned Winker. Carlos Mendoza would probably go to J.D. Martinez right there. But again, that's looking down the line, which is really what Rob Thompson's also doing.
Vientos, of course, has lots of power. He strikes out a lot, twice today, and he does hit more than his fair share of ground balls. Hasn't grounded into a ton of double plays. In fact, he has grounded into a total of 6 for the year, which is not all that many for a guy who does hit the ball on the ground more than just now and then. That's the one thing you fear here from the Mets standpoint more than any other. What you relish is the power. Bader at second, Lindor at first. Good speed aboard. Nobody out. 1-0 Phillies in the 8th. First pitch. In for a called strike. Knee high outside corner fastball. And it's 0-1. Again, Nimmo on deck is a left-handed batter, so likely that this is the last batter for Hoffman. Not set in stone, though. 0-1. Bader bouncing off of second, so Hoffman wheels back that way without making a throw. The third baseman, Bohm, is deep. And a stride or two off the line. 0-1 to Vientos. The pitch. On the outside corner again. Same pitch, same spot. Great pitcher's pitch. And now Vientos, who, as you know, has a tendency to expand, punched out 135 times this year, behind 0-2. Hoffman ready now, the pitch. Breaking ball outside. Went with a slider after 2 perfectly dotted fastballs, and it's 1-2.
Now, for a guy that expands, that was a pretty unbelievable take right there from Mark Vientos.
So Bader walks off of second. Lindor from first. Time called at the plate by Vientos. Lights are beginning to take effect. The sun no longer a factor. And Hoffman back on the rubber after the timeout. Brings the hands together. Runners lead second and first. Now the 1-2 to Vientos. Breaking ball line to left field. That's a base hit. Here comes Bader around third. He scores the tying run. Lindor digging for third. He's in with a head-first slide. Vientos follows to second. Mets have tied it 1-1. And they have runners at second and third and nobody out on the biggest hit to young Mark Vientos' career to this point.
Now off the end of the bat, he pulls this to left, not right at Marsh, because Marsh would have come up throwing toward the plate, but along the line, softly making Marsh race over to that line and come in. And that allows the Mets to not only score, but easily move up to second and third. And here comes Rob Thompson. Howie, the Mets only need to see somebody else not named Zach Wheeler.
Well, they've done that. Not only do they have the game tied, they have runners at second and third. Nobody out here in the 8th inning. And this pitching change is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play the newest scratch-off games for a chance to win.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars.
Hey you! Yeah, the one that's listening to the MLB playoffs with us. We really appreciate you being here. Please help our community grow. Take a minute to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single MLB playoff game here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Now, if you're already subscribed, we appreciate it. Cheers, Insiders. Now, please share this link out as much as you can. Send it out to the social boards. Put it up on the social media, on Twitter. Get it out there. Let's bring more baseball fans here into the chat to hang out with us during these playoffs. Really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well as hitting that share button. We'll see you guys back in the chat.
Find us at 1231 US 22 in Bridgewater, New Laborers Local 731 has been responsible for some of the biggest and most celebrated infrastructure projects in New York City, like the rebuild of the World Trade Center and the new LaGuardia Airport. Local 731 provides qualified and competent laborers to fill the demand that the construction industry not only requires but deserves. Its members and leadership have fought hard for wages and benefits that open the path to the middle class that every hardworking American deserves. Laborers Local 731. Feel the power.
Well, the Mets here in the top of the 8th inning have tied the Phillies 1-1. They have runners at second and third, nobody out. The new pitcher will be lefty Matt Strahm, who had an outstanding season out of the Philadelphia bullpen. A guy who's been with the Royals and the Padres and the Red Sox. And Mark Vientos has the hit that has tied the game, but as big as that hit was, you talked about it, Keith, he spit on that 0-2 slider to stay alive, and then got another slider and shot it into left field. So here's Nimmo, and the infield is in. The first pitch on the way. Check swing, the ball in the dirt, but he went around. No question he went around. It's 0-1. Nimmo has struck out, walked, and popped to second. So the Mets with their first run of the game, sponsored by Sloman's Home Security. Real security powered by real people. Sloman's, the difference is human. Lindor is the runner at third. And Vientos, who went to second on the throw to third, is at second. Strahm sets the pitch to Nimmo. Breaking ball, foul back to the screen. Another slider. And the count quickly 0-2 to Nimmo. Alonso, a right-hand batter, is on deck. And another right-hand hitter behind him in Jose Iglesias. Mets now with 3 hits. The Phillies 2. We're tied at 1. The infield in. Strahm sets. 0-2 to Nimmo. Swinging a liner to the third base hit beyond the reach of Bohm into left field. Here comes Lindor to score the go-ahead run. Vientos at third, and on at first with an RBI single is Brandon Nimmo. The Mets are leading by a score of 2-1.
Starting to get to that point where the Mets are turning into an NBA team. Start the game with 2 minutes left and go, because this is a Mets team that once again for 7 innings shut down by Zach Wheeler. A new reliever comes in, they get it started. A second reliever follows, they grab the lead. Big swing by Nimmo on a fastball down and away, and he just went with it against a tough lefty, Matt Strahm.
And the Mets getting hits behind in the count. Nimmo was down 0-2. Now here is Alonso. Runners at the corners. Infield is up. The first pitch taken on the outside corner, a called strike, 0-1. Now the Mets leading now 2-1. And Vientos, a slow runner at third. He's going on contact. The ball to the infield. Obviously, the Phillies will come home. Middle infielders not particularly deep at all. They're up, but not all the way up. The 0-1, fouled back to the screen by Alonso. It's 0-2. Pete has struck out all 3 times in this game. Right here, you just want him to put the ball in play. Now, obviously, again, with Vientos not being a fast man, there's no guarantee on a ball hit to the infield. Nimmo, the runner at first. 0-2 the count. Strahm deals. Swing on a foul going to the backstop. So Pete hanging in with Jose Iglesias waiting on deck.
Rob Thompson can feel good about Matt Strahm, or feel good as much as he can about Matt Strahm against righties. Lefties hit 230. Righties hit 130 against Matt Strahm. So he's a reverse split.
And time called at home plate by Alonso.
I don't think Rob Thompson's feeling good about anything right now, actually.
Hey, can't blame him, right? He's got a great bullpen. He's managed it textbook so far. Just hasn't worked for him yet. 0-2. Strahm holding that set. Still holding. Now the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, left center field. It'll be deep enough to get a run home. Rojas, the center fielder, makes the catch in front of the warning track. In to score is Vientos. Holding at first is Nimmo. Sacrifice fly from Pete Alonso has given the Mets a 3-1 lead. And again, doing something behind in the count.
Mark Vientos, 2 strikes, double to left. Brings in a run. Nimmo 0-2, punches it to left. Also with 2 strikes. Pete Alonso sac fly on 0-2. And as he came back in, clapping his hands, knowing that, hey, situational hitting. He didn't have to hit a ball out to right field. in Milwaukee right here. Just had to get a run in.
So here is Iglesias, who's 0 for 3. 3-1 New York. A throw to first. Harper makes the catch moving down the line. It was not a great throw, and I don't know that Harper necessarily was trying to deke Nimmo. The way Nimmo broke off at first, he might have been thinking, wait a minute, did that ball get away from Harper or not? It did not. And now Iglesias. Just 2 for 17 in the postseason. First pitch. Off. Well, no, late call. It's on the outside corner.
That's the second pitch Iglesias has taken. One was so far in earlier in the game in the fourth. This one way outside, also called a strike by Andy Fletcher.
0-1. Carlos Mendoza with a perplexed look on his face after that one. Big hole on the right side of the infield. The 0-1, swing and a miss. The fastball out away. And it's 0-2. But again, maybe these hitters have the Phillies pitchers right where they want them. Because, again, behind in the count, that's where the Mets have done their damage in the 8th inning. 1 out, 3 runs in. 3-1 New York, the 0-2. Get on the ground foul down the third baseline. Mets barely had a sniff against Zach Wheeler, who basically gave them whatever opportunities they had via bases on balls, save for a single by Vientos. Mark Vientos, 2 for 4 in this game now. 0-2 to Iglesias. Strom holds the set, now the pitch. Swing and a foul, back to the screen. So, pretty much a center cut fastball there. Iglesias fouled it back, and nobody was happy. Iglesias knows he had a pitch to hit, and Strom upset with where he located. So, it's 0-2. Strom sets right around the shoulder. Now the pitch. Swing and another foul off to the right. That goes into the sweet level behind first.
A couple pitches ago, Howie, Jesse Winker was in the on-deck circle, but he has now come back to the bench, and J.D. Martinez has surfaced. Meanwhile, the Phillies, their own chess move, they have a righty getting up. Haven't seen exactly who that is yet, and it is Orion Kerkering getting loose.
Yeah, this is the last of the mandated 3 hitters faced by Matt Strom. Still ahead of Iglesias, 0-2. Now the pitch. Another foul straight back. So 6 pitches here thrown by Strom. The count remains 0-2. A called strike, a swinging strike, and 4 foul balls. Oh, and 2, the count remains. Nimmo leads from first. Nimmo's running. The pitch. Pop foul again. This time into the seats behind the first base dugout. Well, in all likelihood, this will be it for Strom with J.D. Martinez on deck, if that's the way that Carlos Mendoza ultimately goes, especially with the hard-throwing Kerkering throwing. But Iglesias certainly doing his job here to this point, just staying alive and forcing and perhaps frustrating Strom. The 0-2. Fastball fouled straight back again. And the frustrating point of it is that, you hope that a pitcher gets just so frustrated that he gives in and maybe throws a pitch without the conviction he normally would, particularly if it's over the plate. Well, Iglesias waves the bat around again. This will be pitch number 9 with an 0-2 count. Here it comes, and it's fouled again. This is going to be a double-digit plate appearance for Iglesias. Nimmo was not running on the last one. He's been in motion once among all of these pitches. 9 pitches, 7 foul balls, 3-1 New York, 1 out, top of the 8th. Nimmo at first, 0-2 to Iglesias. Strom stares at Nimmo, holds the set. Nimmo not running, and the pitch hit on the ground up the middle. Base hit into center field. What an at-bat for Iglesias. Nimmo to second, stops there, and the Mets not only keep the line moving, they keep the trend going of hits or base runners behind in the count, or in the case of Alonso, a sac fly. First and second, nobody out. Now Martinez will be announced as the pinch hitter. It's your move, Rob Thompson. He's not left the dugout yet. What an at-bat by Iglesias to stay alive.
The Mets against Zach Wheeler were 1 for 21. The Mets against the Phillies bullpen here in this inning, they are 4 for 4 with a walk and a sac fly. And now Rob Thompson's coming out.
And this pitching change is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play the new Scratch-Off games for a chance to win.
Pat McCarthy here, and I'd like to tell you about my alma mater, the College of New Jersey. At TCNJ, you get the best of both worlds. A top-notch education at a public college price point. TCNJ's faculty are partners in their students' success with courses that are more immersive and that offer transformational learning experiences along the way. That's higher education elevated. Come see for yourself what makes TCNJ so special. Learn more and register for an open house at TCNJ.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you for hanging out with us during this Division Series MLB postseason matchup. Please hit that like button down below. It helps bring more baseball fans and sports fans here to the chat to help you cheer on your team. Where you watching from in the chat, let us know. Say hi and hit that thumbs up button. We'll be right back to the baseball action. We'll see you guys in the chat. Let's have some fun. Let's keep it classy. And good luck to your team. Hope they win and move on to the World Series.
Requires compatible device. Sequences shortened and simulated. Activation of Nissan Connect services package required. Only use features when safe and legal to do so. Data rates may apply. Subject to third-party service availability. Google Play, and Google Maps are trademarks of Google LLC. Applies to 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa base models. Trim level described with higher MSRP. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. MSRP excludes $13.90 destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Well, the Mets have 3 runs in here in the top of the 8th inning after being able to do nothing with Zach Wheeler through 7. So Ryan Kerkering becomes the 3rd pitcher used in the inning. All relievers. Hoffman did not retire a batter. 2 hits, a walk, charged with 3 runs. Matt Strom faced 3 batters. Single, sac fly, single. So he is responsible for the men aboard. And now it will be Kerkering. He's another one with a very lively arm and a guy they missed a little bit early in the year. He was on the injured list at the beginning of the season, missed the first couple of weeks with a forearm sprain. But Kerkering, 64 games, went 5-3, a 2.29 ERA, 74 strikeouts in 63 innings, and usually very good control. So here is J.D. Martinez to hit for Jesse Winker. First pitch to the right-hand batter, inside, ball 1. J.D. Martinez, just 4 for his last 48 at the plate. But he knows his way around these situations. This is his 36th postseason game. The 1-0 pitch on the outside corner, a called strike. And that evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Mets looking to keep the pressure on and add on here in this 8th inning. Nimmo is at second, Iglesias at first, the 1-1. Martinez hits it up the middle, base hit, going into center field, around third Nimmo, he's coming home, the throw goes to third, the slide there by Iglesias, he's safe, Nimmo scores, 4-1 New York, pinch hit, RBI single, J.D. Martinez.
It's unbelievable right now what the Mets are doing against this Philadelphia bullpen, and it's dudes out of the bullpen. It's Hoffman, Strom, Kerkering, and I tell you what, maybe this is the layoff. Relievers especially. These guys need to pitch a lot. They haven't pitched in about a week, and maybe the Phillies are feeling that right now because the Mets offensively are feeling it against them.
That's a great point, and now the Mets will continue to keep their foot on the pedal. Starling Marte, the batter. Runners at the corners, the infield up. The first pitch inside near his leg, ball 1. So that run is charged to Strom, who's also responsible for Iglesias, who's now at third. Marte 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch. Iglesias at third, Martinez at first. And the 1-0 pitch. In tight to Marte, ball 2. Again, the Phillies knowing they can't afford to do anything but make a play at the plate. All 4 infielders up now with Iglesias at third. Not too much of a lead for him. The 2-0 hit high in the air, straightaway center. That'll score a run. Rojas back in front of the track, makes the catch. Iglesias tags. He comes in to score. Holding at first is Martinez, and the New York Mets have put up a 5 spot here in this top half of the 8th inning, and they have gone in front of the Phillies 5-1.
I mean, think about what 1-0 was for the Mets, right? They had to deal with it for 7 innings when Schwarber hit the home run in the bottom of the first. 1 run in the playoffs on the road feels like a lot. The Mets have put up 5 here late, really late against Philly.
Here's Tyrone Taylor, first pitch, taken outside, ball 1. Both of those sacrifice flies, the one by Alonso and the one by Marte, hit pretty much to the deepest part of the park. That is in left center, extreme left center, trending towards straightaway. The 1-0 popped up behind home plate. Real Muto now gets rid of the mask and on the grass makes the catch to retire the side. However, in the 8th inning, the Mets bat around. They sent 9 men to the plate. They scored 5 runs. There were 4 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And in the middle of the 8th inning, it's the Mets 5, the Phillies 1 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
Whoa! New Jersey might be small, but there's a lot of wow packed into this little state, so what are you waiting for? Wow your way through NJ. Through sculpture gardens, garden gardens, and loop-de-loops. New Jersey, it's one wow after another after another. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lot of wow.
Come home to SNY.
Lot to get to here on our postgame show
as our team covers your team with all the postgame reactions.
That is as playoff baseball as there is.
On the Mets playoff run, Nissan Postgame Live. Tonight, immediately after the Mets-Phillies NLDS game, only on SNY.
The Nissan Rogue with available Google built-in helps you make the most of your drive. Take care of the small stuff, like,
hey Google, cool down my car.
And,
hey Google, turn on the dog feeder.
Or change up your adventure.
Hey Google, navigate me to the nearest music venue.
Handle your drive like a pro.
Experience the ultimate connection in the new 2024 Nissan Rogue. Now Nissan offers 6 vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. Not equipped on all vehicles. Requires compatible device. Sequences shortened and simulated. Activation of Nissan Connect services package required. Only use features when safe and legal to do so. Data rates may apply. Subject to third-party service availability. Google, Google Play, and Google Maps are trademarks of Google LLC. Applies to 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa base models. Trim level described with higher MSRP. All prices are manufacturer suggested retail price. MSRP excludes $13.90 destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the Mets 5. Yep, the Mets 5. And the Phillies 1 as the Mets put up 5 in the top of this 8th inning. And so that allows Mets manager Carlos Mendoza to essentially go to his defensive platoon as Harrison Bader, who came into the game as a pinch runner for Francisco Alvarez, stays in the game in center field. Tyrone Taylor goes from center field to right field. Luis Angel Acuna comes into the game and plays second base. And Jose Iglesias goes to third base. And now it's about the Mets bullpen with, well, put it mildly, Phil Maton looking for a mulligan after his last time out. Facing Kyle Schwarber. First pitch taken high, 1 ball and no strikes. Maton wound up working and struggling in the 8th inning of Game 2 of the Brewers series, allowing 2 home runs, a game-tying homer to Jackson Chourio and a 2-run homer to Garrett Mitchell. The 1-0, Schwarber takes off the outside corner, ball 2. Well, it'll be interesting to see what else the Mets do with their bullpen here. Reed Garrett gave them 2 innings. He hadn't pitched 2 innings since May. 2-0 pitch. Schwarber takes a called strike. It's 2-1. Remember, Edwin Diaz not only had a huge workload at the end of the regular season, and of course in Monday's memorable first game of the doubleheader. It's the 2-1 to Schwarber. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball way out in front. Good sweeper, and it's 2-2. Diaz threw 39 pitches in the game on Thursday night. Wound up getting credit for the win. It's got kind of quiet here. A lot of the fans remain on their feet. 2-2 to Schwarber. The pitch. Swing and a foul. He just got a piece of it.
Talk about a mulligan for Phil Maton, who was brought over here at the deadline from Tampa Bay because of basically his stomach for these big moments. And coming into the playoffs this year, Maton had given up 2 earned runs in 21 innings. He'll give up 3 and just 1 in Milwaukee.
So 2-2 to Schwarber. The pitch. Breaking ball in there. Strike 3 called. He froze him with a curve. And that's the first out here in the 8th inning.
Now Schwarber has those big eyes on him, eyebrows raised. He didn't like that call, and I'll tell you what, it's been a night where the Mets have not liked the strike zone at all. First time we've really seen any barking from the guys in red.
So with 1 out, it'll bring up Trey Turner, and then this couldn't be set up any better for the Mets because they're facing the big boys here, the top of the Phillies order, and it's a deep lineup to begin with, but they're facing these guys now with a 4-run lead. First pitch to Turner, outside, ball 1. Thriving player of the game, let's make him Mark Vientos. 2 hits in this game, including the RBI that tied the game in the top of this 8th inning. The 1-0 on the way. Turner swings and misses at a breaking ball, 1-1. It's brought to you by Thrivewell Infusion, New York's premier infusion and injection center. Saving lives drip by drip. Visit ThrivewellInfusion.com. Maton, the 4th Mets pitcher. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball, foul back to the screen, 1-2. Not trying to manage here, but I think in a perfect world for Carlos Mendoza, he would love not to have to get Diaz up. It's a 4-run lead right now, and yeah, he had yesterday off, but his workload the last week or so has been heavy. 1-2. Pitch to Turner. Breaking ball, tap, foul, third base side, rolling over by the Mets dugout.
I love that the other night in Milwaukee as Diaz calmed things down in the 7th and then in the 8th, and then Pete hits the home run. He wanted the 9th again, and Carlos said, would you sit down and rest for a second, please? You've thrown 100 pitches in 5 days.
1-2, the count to Turner. Maton deals. Breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3. Well, he got him with a sweeper after freezing Schwarber with a curve, and Maton making a statement here. Shrugging that last one off, has retired the first 2, and well, this is just perfect for the Mets facing Bryce Harper in the 8th inning with 2 out, nobody on, with a 5-1 lead.
They don't make 4 or 5-run home runs when there's nobody on base.
So Harper will try to fight his way on in any manner. Castellanos on deck. And Maton's first pitch, way outside and high, ball 1. Luis Torrenza should have mentioned also behind the plate now with Alvarez out of the game for the pinch runner. So Luis Torrenza, who's been outstanding defensively. The 1-0. Harper pulls it on the ground foul down the first base line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets will have Bader, Lindor, and Acuna due up in the 9th inning as they look perhaps to extend the lead, assuming they get out of it in this inning with 1. And the 1-1 fouled into the mid of Torrens. It's 1-2. That's 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Phillies 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. And the silence here has become deafening. Here's the 1-2. Harper lines it foul off the netting down the third base side.
And this would be a huge inning for Phil Maton. Again, the Mets had 2 guys get hit in the mouth in that Milwaukee series, Maton and Buto. You come out of that series alive, you survive it, you come right back out. Carlos Mendoza slides you right back in a big spot.
1-2 to Harper. Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Went to the curve with which he struck out Schwarber. Got Turner with a sweeper. 7 Phillies have punched out in this game. 3 against Sanga. Peterson and Garrett, 1 each. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, just missed outside. Went with a curve again. So, full count now to Bryce Harper. And the Phillies fans awakening a bit. I don't know if they have their hearts in it. Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a liner to right field. That's a base hit. It's headed towards the corner. Taylor on the run. Harper on his way to second. Taylor just now picks it up, but down 4 runs. Harper will hold on at second with a 2-out double.
Again, it's a much different feeling when, like you said, Howie, you're up by 4 as the Mets are right now. Doesn't have to be a lot of panic in there. Maton can come right back out, and even if Castellanos gives up a bomb, you still have the lead, and that enables him, Maton here, to pitch calmly and coolly and just work around that double with 2 outs.
And I think you also have to just give a lot of credit to Reed Garrett for the 2 innings that he pitched, as much for the length as the quality. So now Castellanos, right-hand batter with power. And the first pitch on the way, hit hard on the ground to the shortstop hole, past the diving Lindor, base hit left field. They'll hold Harper at third. As the throw comes into the plate, Torrens moves way out in front onto the infield grass to take the throw. Castellanos aboard with a 2-out single. Remember now, this ballpark plays really small. And Alec Boehm, who's got a lot of power, is going to be next. And here's Jeremy Hefner, the Mets pitching coach, on his way to the mound with the bullpen just getting up.
Looks like Ryan Stanek, who has found himself pitching in big moments and has earned Carlos Mendoza's trust for the last few weeks, getting loose here. And for Phil Maton, as I said, when you give up that double with 2 outs up by 4, okay, not a problem. But now you have first and third with 2 outs. It starts to feel like a little bit of a problem, which is why Stanek is up and Hefner is out there to talk to the whole infield.
Well, it is, because you can be, 330 feet away from a 1-run game here. It's that kind of ballpark. Actually, 329 to the foul pole and left. The ball has always carried very well here ever since this place opened 20 years ago. It can be a hitter's paradise. Slumping hitters, and I'll just talk about Mets hitters over the years, have often gotten well here in series against the Phillies. So 5-1 sounds and is great, but one thing they don't want to do is put it in the dryer here. Alec Boehm, 0 for 3, righty against righty. Maton comes to the belt. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen, 0-1, a cutter. That was on the inner half of the plate to the right-hand batter. Bryson Stott, a left-hand hitter, due up next. Phillies now with 4 hits. 2 of them back-to-back here with 2 out in the 8th. Maton ready. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Gave him a fastball there. A cut fastball at 90. And now Maton ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Harper at third, Castellanos at first. They're not going anywhere until the ball's in play, not down 4. Maton ready, the 0-2. Breaking ball pulled on the ground along the third baseline, foul. Iglesias was pretty close to that line, so he would have been able to make a play on it if it had been fair, but either way, it remains 0-2 on Alec Boehm.
And a lefty on deck, Bryson Stott. That's where Stanek would fit in. That splitter could guard against lefties. This is probably the last batter for Maton here.
0-2 the count. Maton to the belt. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back and out of play. Boy, you think too about the, 10-pitch at bat that Jose Iglesias had, singling in the 8th inning. That got Strom out of the game. Next 2 batters, RBI single, sac fly. Right here, 0-2 to Boehm. The pitch. Check swing, did he go? They look to first. No swing, says Edwin Moscoso. He held off the breaking ball. So 1-2 on Alec Boehm. A Nebraskan who's found a home here in Philadelphia after a shaky start with these fans. 1-2 the count. Now the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to third, backing up Iglesias. He's got it, throws to second. Force play, side retired. Acuna takes the throw. Phillies done in the 8th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. And to the end of 8 innings, it's the Mets 5, the Phillies 1 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go, Mets!
This week on Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, Peter King, and me, Jim Gray.
The great J.J. Watt joins us.
How are you enjoying this side of the microphone?
Did something I thought I'd never do, which is be on social media. I somehow got into a chat room and I couldn't get out of it.
Hopefully it wasn't Shannon Sharp's, because I've heard there's a lot of wild stuff that goes on out there.
No, it was a random one. I was just kind of scrolling through.
Listen to the extended version of Let's Go, now available exclusively on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app. You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The biggest events in golf are on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Mets fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Mets.
Inning here in Philadelphia. The Mets 5, the Phillies 1 in Game 1 of the Division Series. And now left-hander Tanner Banks will come on to do the pitching for Philadelphia. Orion Kerkering got the last 2 outs of the 8th inning, giving up an RBI single, the pinch single to J.D. Martinez, the first man he faced, and then a sac fly to Starling Marte before Tyrone Taylor fouled out to end the inning. So 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no runs. The line on Kerkering. And now Tanner Banks, who pretty well went to the bank and made quite a deposit for himself when he deposited his stuff here in Philadelphia after being acquired from the Chicago White Sox. And you think of what the White Sox did this year, losing, 121 games, and going to the Eastern Division champion Phillies, and now pitching here in the postseason. Well, that's gold for him. This is his first postseason appearance, and he's going to face Harrison Bader, Francisco Lindor, and Luis Angel Acuna. Left-hand pitcher, right-hand batter. Bader fouls the first one back to the screen, 0-1. And Bader, who gives the Mets speed and great defense in center, can really use a hit or two. He is 10 for his last 85 at the plate. Batted .236 on the year. The 0-1 fouled off to the right and off the facing of the second deck behind first. It's 0-2, and now as foul balls go into the stands, we look around and see there are some vacated seats.
Wow.
So the vibe has surely changed here in the last 40 minutes or so. 0-2 pitch, lined up the middle, little floater that's going to fall into center field, a base hit. And a guy who really needed one has one. Harrison Bader aboard with a leadoff single here in the 9th inning.
Tell you what, it just, again, hey, you have that feel that the Mets relievers are just a little sharper, a little more seasoned, like they've been out there a lot in the last week, and sometimes too many games in the last week. And these Phillies relievers are just not sharp, making mistakes that Zach Wheeler wasn't making. They're making them, having come in from the bullpen.
That's a great point, and probably quite a bit of validity to it, as Lindor, batting right-handed, tries to hold his swing but does not as he goes around at a first pitch slider, 0-1. Yeah, they could play intra-squad games and have fun with that as they did, but that's all it is fun. I mean, there is nothing, even in the regular season, that compares to postseason intensity, never mind an intra-squad scrimmage. The 0-1 to Lindor, punched foul off the fists into the seats downstairs. It's 0-2.
Somebody told me, I saw a note today that it was 5-5, the intra-squad game.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Each team gets a point.
Doesn't matter at all.
Each team gets a point. No home run derby. 0-2 to Lindor. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a fastball away. So Banks with his first strikeout. It'll bring up Luis Angel Acuna for the first time. Scoreboard update brought to you by Ready Refresh, New York's reliable water delivery service. The Kansas City Eisenbergs have a 1-0 lead over the Yankees in the top of the second. Guess who drove in the run with a sac fly? Former Met, former everybody else, Tommy Pham. As Luis Angel Acuna takes a breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1.
I think I say Seth Lugo there for a second, but he's got other jobs to do for Kansas City.
Yes, he does. Jesse Eisenberg, our old friend, or Jake Eisenberg, pardon me, broadcaster with the Royals. The 0-1 to Acuna fouled straight back out of play, 0-2. Earlier today, Cleveland beat Detroit 7-0. Both of the scores I just gave you, openers in the American League. Later on, San Diego and the Dodgers open their playoff series at Dodger Stadium. 5-1 Mets, 1 out, Bader at first, top 9. 0-2 to Acuna. Banks throws to first. Bader is back standing. Don't forget, stay tuned after the game for the Verizon Mets postgame show. Verizon, the network New York City relies on. 0-2 to Acuna. Here's a pitch. Upstairs, 1-2. Tomorrow, it will be Luis Severino for the Mets. And Christopher Sanchez, the tough lefty, for the Philadelphia Phillies, who will have Nola ready to go, I'm sure, in game 3. Here's the 1-1. Bader runs, pitch taken high, throw to second, head first slide, he's out. Diving
Always say he dropped the ball.
Wow.
At the last second, sorry, Howie, Doug Eddington, Stott dropped the ball.
Well, he was going to be out. He was out until the ball came out of Stott's hands. A break for the Mets, although Rob Thompson not convinced on the bench.
Has an unbelievable throw again by JT Realmuto. Bader out by a couple of feet.
Wow.
And the ball squeaked out of Stott's glove, but I don't think it hit the ground and popped up and went back in.
2-2, the count to Acuna. Banks ready now, the pitch. Breaking ball in there, strike 3 called. So Acuna caught looking. Banks has now struck out 2 after the leadoff single by Bader, who does get credit for the stolen base. And it'll bring up Brandon Nimmo. Brandon, who hit so well all year with men in scoring position. Stott's talking to the second base umpire, Doug Eddings, because he's claiming that ball was in the web of his glove under his control long enough. Doesn't matter. 2 out. Here's Nimmo. First pitch way inside near his leg. Ball 1.
And we've seen it before where the ball will pop out of the glove and then land on the ground. And you say, okay. But the ball after the tag, this is after the tag that Stott got on, popped up out of the glove and then right back in. Strange.
The 1-0. Swinging a liner towards second. Off the glove of Stott. Rolls into right field. Around third, Bader. He comes home to score. Holding at first with an RBI single is Brandon Nimmo. The Mets are leading by a score of 6-1.
Well, Bryson Stott obviously had a chance right there to secure that ball in his glove. It was stung by Nimmo. Stott tracked it well, reached the glove out, and just couldn't harness it. Hit right off the top of his glove, went into right field.
Buddy, Eddie, Jerry, Jim, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Here's Pete Alonso. First pitch on the way. In tight, a fastball, ball 1. Alonso struck out 3 times. Then faced Matt Strom. And behind in the count, 2 strikes, hit a sacrifice fly. Pitch to him. On the outside corner, a called strike, 1-1. That was in a 5-run 8th inning by the Mets. They've now added 1 here in the 9th, increasing their lead to 6-1. 1-1 pitch. Alonso punches it foul into the seats downstairs behind home plate. The count 1-2. Well, be interesting when we get to Citi Field on Wednesday or Tuesday, pardon me. And if the Mets close this out in this game, I mean, imagine winning them both here. That's quite a ticket. The 1-2 fouled back to the screen. But if they win one of these games here, I would love to be able to measure and compare the decibel level here with what we'll hear at Citi Field in a similarly structured ballpark on Tuesday. 1-2, pitch to Alonso, taken upstairs, 2-2. And by the way, with this extra run the Mets have tacked on to make it 6-1, they can keep Edwin Diaz in a rocking chair for now. Ryan Stanek stays up. 2-2 to Alonso. Swinging a pop foul, going back into the seats downstairs behind first.
I tell you what, the decibel level here is pretty close to 0, and there are more and more seats emptying out. Fans filing up, trying to beat that traffic because 45,000 is still a lot of traffic out there.
2-2 to Alonso. Hit in the air to center, straight away. Rojas there. He makes the 2-hand catch, and that retires the side. Mets tack one on, a run on 2 hits. They leave one, middle of the 9th inning. The Mets 6, the Phillies 1 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go, Mets! New Jersey might be small, but there's a lot of wow packed into this little state. Cork-popping wows, time to dine wows, Pine Barren wows. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lot of wow.
By now, you should know I can't get my game day started without my mug of my favorite Bigelow tea. For me, it's that smooth Bigelow green tea that tastes great and keeps my voice in peak condition, especially in extra innings. And I definitely need the English tea time for that day game after a night game. No matter how hectic your day gets, grab your favorite Bigelow tea and take a moment just for you. Join the millions of Mets fans that make Bigelow #1 in New York. Bigelow Tea, the official tea of Odyssey Mets Radio.
In 2024, you get more at Ramsey Mazda. More selection and more savings. Like a new 2024 Mazda CX-5, starting at just $29,276. Ramsey Mazda is the proud recipient of the 2023 President's Club Award and the 2024 Cars.com Consumer Satisfaction Award. Visit RamseyMazda.com. That's RamseyMazda.com. Get more in a new Mazda from Ramsey Mazda. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda.
No matter where you're rooting for the Mets this postseason, 10-1 Rum wants you to elevate your game day lineup with 9 Mets-inspired cocktails. Winning requires doing things a little differently, so explore the unexpected because a world of amazing experiences awaits with 10-1 Rum. Celebrate the joy of discovery with 10-1 Rum this season. From 10-1 Rum's 8-6 Old Fashioned to the amazing daiquiri, there's a drink for every fan and every occasion. 10-1 Rum, a proud partner of the New York Mets.
Now we go to the last of the 9th inning. The Mets 6, the Phillies 1, and again, in what has been the hallmark of this Mets team this season, it is late inning, come from behind damage. Now the deficit was just 1 run, but that had held since the 3rd pitch of the bottom of the 1st inning when Kyle Schwarber hit a home run off of Kodi Sanga. So the Mets, and remember how they were basically anesthetized offensively in Milwaukee in the deciding 3rd game of the series on Thursday night, came up with 4 in the 9th inning and beat the Brewers 4-2 beat the Brewers 4-2 after trailing 2-0. Well, now 5 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. The Mets lead 6-1. And message from the Mets to Ryan Stanek, SOC, save our closer. The project for Stanek is don't even allow them to go to the phone and ask Edwin Diaz to get up. There's another game tomorrow, same start time, 4:08, a day off Monday. And so they would love to keep Diaz out of this thing, knowing if he gets in tomorrow, he's got another day, all pointing to the very heavy workload he's had recently. So Bryson Stott leads off. The righty Stanek's first pitch, fastball over a call, straight, gets 0-1. Stott has popped to 3rd, drawn a walk, and tapped out to the catcher. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Mets. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Phillies. The 0-1 fouled back to the screen, and it's 0-2. Mets are very comfortable with Phil Maton and Ryan Stanek in these situations, given their postseason experience. Maton pitched a scoreless 8th, and now Stanek with an 0-2 to Scott that's way upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And for Maton, even though he gave up those 2 hits after striking out the first 2 batters in the 8th, getting a scoreless inning under his belt, huge for his head. The 1-2, high with a fastball, 2-2. Stanek, of course, hits the upper 90s with his heat. That last one at 98. Real Muto on deck, and then Marsh. Stanek brings the hands together. Now the 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Blew a fastball by him at 97. 1 man away. And it'll bring up Real Muto.
Tell you what, as we talked about in the last few innings, the big part of playing here and taking down the Phillies is defeating the crowd. The Mets have done a great job of that right now. This is one of the best places in the postseason to play. And again, crowd has been taken out of it.
The thing of it is, too, if you're a Mets fan, you're not going to get cocky right now. Not here in this building. First pitch to Real Muto, fouled off to the right and out of play. into the second deck behind first, 0-1. I see a few blue-shirted clad Mets fans behind their dugout on the third base side. But I got to start making noise and trying to taunt these people. That might hurt. The 0-1 breaking ball over a called strike. It's 0-2 to Real Muto.
As Willie Adames famously said to Jesse Winker, I'll see you in the parking lot. You don't want to do anything in front of these people when you have to walk out the same door to your car.
Yeah, a lot more Pennsylvania license plates than New York plates here. The 0-2 breaking ball outside, 1-2. Even if you throw away the Jersey plates, because that's right next door, right over the Walt Whitman or Ben Franklin bridges, right next to this or near this ballpark. 1-2. Stanek delivers. In tight, almost nicked him in the leg. 2-2 to Real Muto. Oh, Stanek now wants a new baseball. Gets permission from home plate ump Andy Fletcher and rolls the other one, bruised and battered, into the Mets dugout. I got to find out the number on average. How many more baseballs used in a game today as compared to like 40 years ago? 2-2. Way outside, ball 3. The ball went beyond the reach of Torrens. Went to the backstop, carried right back to Luis. I mean, they throw everything out now.
It's a way to bide a little time, too. If you're feeling the heat as a pitcher, you just ask the umpire for a new baseball. You get an extra 10 seconds. A lot of wasted balls.
3-2, the payoff pitch to Real Muto. Inside ball 4. He walked him, a 1-out walk. And that's one thing, maybe with a 5-run lead and 1 out in the 9th inning, you can abide a little easier than in other situations. But what came close to killing the Mets this year were walks. They walked more batters than any staff in the National League. And when you factor in they hit more batters than any staff in the majors and threw more wild pitches than any staff in the majors. And here's Marsh, swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. And you could say it's a minor miracle they're here, particularly when you consider they faced a Milwaukee Brewers team in the wild card series that can run you ragged. 0-1 to Marsh, the pitch. Taken low, pops out of the mid of Torrens. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sanga, Peterson, Garrett, Maton, and Stanek. The 5 Mets pitchers to this point. Bullpen remains quiet. 1 out. We're in the 9th. 6-1 New York. The 1-1 at the knees for a called strike. Marsh doesn't think so, unless the knees are around the ankles. And the hirsute Marsh, with hair from his beard extending probably down to the second button on his shirt. Behind in the count, 1-2. Stanek, long hair himself. The 1-2. Swinging a high fly ball to straightaway center. Back a couple steps, Bader. He's there. Makes the 2-hand catch. 2 men away. And the Phillies down to their last out. Johan Rojas due up. Last month, infielder by trade, and of course Roger Clemens' son. The last chance here for the Phillies. Batting for Johan Rojas, who went 0 for 2 with a walk. Mets 6, Phillies 1. Stanek just looking to shut it down here. First pitch, below the knees, 1 ball and no strikes. Left-hand batter and Alonso at first. What a rivalry they have, pitcher and batter, but Alonso just about 1 millistride in from the outfield grass. Real Muto can take second if he wants it. He goes that way. The pitch taken high, ball 2. And Real Muto is at second base on defensive indifference.
I know we joked about that Alonso Clemens home run, but before the Milwaukee home run 2 nights ago, that was the last regular season home run Pete had hit.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
2-0 the count. Stanek deals. Right down the middle, a called strike with a fastball at 95. So 2-1 to Kodi Clemens. Spells his first name K-O-D-Y. All of Roger's children spell their first names with a K, as in strikeout. The 2-1. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 2-2. And Stanek now a strike away. And some courageous Mets fans in the front row behind their dugout come to their feet. Kind of a golf clap right now. They're not quite hooting and hollering yet. Stanek ready. 2-2 to Clemens. Foul straight back out of play. I think I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count them basically on two hands. Maybe you got to take a sock off, and that's about it, to determine the number of Mets fans that are standing and making themselves obvious behind the Phillies dugout. 2-2 to Clemens. Real Muto at second. Stanek comes set at the belt. Here's the pitch. Swing on a pop foul back this way and just to our left. So a souvenir for someone who remained. And to be fair, a ton of these fans are still here. It's not like this place completely emptied out. And where are they going anyway, other than in a tremendous traffic jam for the next hour or so? 2-2 to Clemens. Stanek sets. Here's the pitch. Swing on a high pop foul. It'll carry into the seats downstairs behind third. So more souvenirs being provided. But Stanek just looking for the final one. Top of the order, and Kyle Schwarber up next. That's about hit the Phillies 8-4. Lead 6-1. Runner at second, 2 out, bottom 9. 2-2 to Clemens. Outside, ball 3. Missed with a split. So Stanek, who has needed a lot of work here, 23 pitches to get to this point. And if Clemens gets on, there may be a call to the bullpen. We'll see. Stanek ready. Now the payoff pitch. Swing on a liner, base hit going into right field. It'll score a run. The ball goes to the wall. Around third, Real Muto. He scores. Clemens to second. Dives in safely with a double and a run batted in. Now as a 6-2 Mets lead. And will the phone ring in the Mets bullpen? Apparently it already has. Edwin Diaz is taken off the jacket.
Yeah, here comes Jeremy Hefner with the slow walkout from that third base dugout just to give Edwin enough time to get ready, because with the top of the order coming up, that's when things could really snowball on Stanek. And that truly just was a flat-out good at-bat by Cody Clemens. He fouled off a lot of pitches. He forced Stanek to start throwing junk to get deeper into the count. And then when it got to 3-2, he basically had to fatten up and throw something that Clemens could hit, and Clemens hurt him. But for Stanek, still an out away. And even though Diaz is getting up, if he doesn't come in this game, it's still a win for the Mets. Try to save as much Diaz as you can for the next day, because he's pitched a lot.
It is vitally important in a playoff series not to overwork your closer. And so Diaz is up, and so is Kyle Schwarber in the batter's box. It was Schwarber who hit the third pitch of the game from Kodi Sanga into the second deck in right field. Phillies lead held at 1-0 until the 8th. Left-hand batter, first pitch. He bunts foul, third base side, 0-1. Not a bad play at all. In fact, there's a guy I just ran into in the men's room in the middle of the 7th inning by the name of Michael Jack Schmidt. Greatest third baseman maybe in baseball history. In situations like that, he would bunt for a base hit. I saw him do it multiple times. The 0-1. Fastball taken outside, 1-1. Didn't know where I was going with that at first. Did you, big boy?
No idea who was in the men's room. But I guess the rich get richer if you're walking to the men's room, and there's Michael Jack Schmidt.
There's Mike Schmidt, yeah. 1-1, the count to Schwarber, who calls time just as Stanek was beginning to stride towards the plate.
That's the best part about this booth. Sometimes, Howie, you start a sentence and I go, where's this
Where are we going? Where are we going? You got to have a feel for the steering wheel, that's all.
It's a roller coaster sometimes.
Yep. 1-1 to Schwarber. Stanek delivers. Just a little bit low. 2-1. He missed with a slider. This does not need to get much stickier. 1 run in, 6-2 New York. He doesn't get Schwarber. We might see Diaz with Turner on deck. Stanek ready, the 2-1. Swing on a high fly ball to right field, deep, but it's playable. Taylor back in front of the track. He makes the one-hand catch. Put it in the books. The New York Mets have taken the opener of this best-of-5 National League Division Series from the Philadelphia Phillies, and they did it in Metsian fashion. As they trailed going to the 8th, they put up 5 in the 8th, tacked on another one in the 9th, and they win the ball game 6-2 and take a 1-0 lead, knowing they already have guaranteed themselves a split of the first 2 games, with Game 3 to be played at Citi Field on Tuesday night and Game 2 here at 408 tomorrow afternoon. In the ninth inning for the Phillies, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. The final score, the New York Mets 6 and the Philadelphia Phillies 2. Back to talk about it in a moment on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
Hey, New York fans. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in New York City's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate.
Hey, you. Yeah, the one that's listening to the MLB playoffs with us. We really appreciate you being here. Please help our community grow. Take a minute to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single MLB playoff game here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Now, if you're already subscribed, we appreciate it. Cheers, Insiders. Now, please share this link out as much as you can. Send it out to the social boards. Put it up on the social media, on Twitter. Get it out there. Let's bring more baseball fans here into the chat to hang out with us during these playoffs. Really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well as hitting that share button. We'll see you guys back in the chat.
Only NCI-designated Comprehensive Cancer Center. The one world-class cancer program that's close to home. RWJ Barnabas Health and Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey. Let's beat cancer together. Visit rwjbh.org/beatcancer.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Throw in some music.
We can watch the game. Or we could keep it simple.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Come home to SNY.
Lot to get to here on our postgame show.
As our team covers your team with all the postgame reactions.
That is as playoff baseball as there is.
On the Mets playoff run. Nissan Postgame Live. Tonight, immediately after the Mets-Phillies NLDS game, only on SNY.
When you need commitment, compassion, and customized care, Margaret Teets Nursing and Rehabilitation envelops you with a warm and welcoming environment. Offering short-term and long-term care, Margaret Teets Nursing and Rehabilitation is a trusted hospice care known for their groundbreaking alternative holistic services and music therapy. Call 718-298-7800. That's 718-298-7800. When you care about somebody, you only want the best.
It's time to let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser Hard Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka, it's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. With no bubbles to fill you up, it's perfect for any season. Plus, each Sun Cruiser is only 100 calories, 1 gram of sugar, and 4.5% alcohol, making it perfect for anywhere your adventures take you. Whether you're indoors or outside, nothing hits quite like a Sun Cruiser. Crack one open today and let the good times cruise.
Sun Cruiser Beverage Company, Boston, Mass. Please drink responsibly.
You can count on our friends at Ridgewood Savings Bank to show you the community banking difference with cutting-edge conveniences and a century-long tradition of award-winning service. Ridgewood is the financial partner you can count on today, tomorrow, and all of the years to come. Whether you prefer to bank at your local neighborhood branch, from home, or on the go, they're always here to help you reach your goals. So let our friends at Ridgewood be the full-service banking partner you can count on to support you in your financial journey. Visit ridgewoodbank.com to find out more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, back here in Philadelphia, the Mets have taken the opener of this best-of-5 division series from the Philadelphia Phillies, winning 6-2. They were able to keep Edwin Diaz out of it, save for the fact that he did have to get up with 2 out in the 9th inning as the Phillies scored a run. So there was no save opportunity tonight. LifeVac is always there to save lives. LifeVac, the original choking rescue suction device. And Casamigos Tequila toasts tonight's Mets victory. The family of Casamigos Tequilas, Anejo, Blanco, Cristalino, Reposado, Mezcal, and the new Casamigas Jalapeno remind you to celebrate responsibly. Well, the Mets didn't beat Zach Wheeler, but they won a game that Zach Wheeler started. And in a 5-game series, when you win a game that the opposition's ace starts, that's huge because the Mets likely won't have to worry about Wheeler now, say for any kind of dramatic relief appearance, until Game 5, if there is one. They know that Game 2 will be tomorrow night. You know, one other thing that they might have accomplished in a roundabout way is they keep the Phillies closer, Carlos Estevez, on the bench and in the bullpen. And we'll tell you why that's important in a moment. But right now, guy who had a big game for the Mets, Mark Vientos, is standing by to talk about it with Pat McCarthy.
Yeah, he sure is, Howie, and it was a huge game, Mark. And once again, the 8th inning. You guys have just figured out ways to hang in games long enough for this offense to break through. And you broke through today with a lot of 2-strike hits. Hoffman and Strom, they both have such nasty 2-strike stuff. What were you guys able to do to stay in those counts and eventually come through with 2 strikes?
Honestly, the game plan was to just stay focused all the way to the 9th inning. Wheeler pitched a great game, and once we got to their bullpen, honestly, I felt like the things were going to change. And Hoffman, like we said, he's a great pitcher, and I was just trying to simplify the game. I think we are trying to simplify the game, just trying to pass the baton, and I think that's been like the quote: pass the baton and keep on going. So that's all we were trying to do.
Is there ever a point in a game when this team feels out of it? I mean, I know it's a 1-run game, so you're always just one swing away, but I mean, it's pretty special what this team is doing right now late in games.
Honestly, after the past week we've been having and we've been fighting to the end, I don't think we lose faith. I mean, like I said, I think one thing we've been talking about in the clubhouse is it's all the way to the last inning. We keep on going to the last inning. We keep on going to the last out. We stay locked in every single pitch, and I feel like that's what we've been doing, and we're going to continue doing that.
Pitching has kept you guys in these games throughout the last month or so. I mean, what's it like playing behind these guys when they just continue to post zeros?
Awesome. Our guys have been doing a great job on the defensive side, on the pitching side, and on the offensive side, and I love this team. I love it.
Mark, congrats on your win. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Howie, back to you.
Well, Mets fans love this team, too, and they'll let them know in person on Tuesday night, and I'm sure they let them know with their lungs at Citi Field this afternoon in the watch party that, Keith, you told me stretched all the way into the second deck, huh?
That's what I saw that somewhere, that they're starting to sell tickets. I think they were donating some tickets to the Mets charity, but up to the 300s up at Citi Field when the team wasn't even there.
Well, Murph's Happy Recap is proudly presented by Flagstar Bank N.A. Flagstar lets align the stars. And, you know, you made a great point about the time off for the Phillies and how it might have affected their bullpen even, you know, more than others on the team because of the way they're utilized and the sporadic workload at times and the touch and feel that, you know, they need in some cases depending on their repertoires. But, you know, if you're going to subscribe to that, and I think it's a very, very valid point, the fact that you're able to keep their closer, Estevez, in the bullpen inactive for another day means it's just going to be that much longer if and when the Phillies need him. So, you know, you look at the little things within the game apart from the obvious, and they all seem to roll the Mets' way tonight.
Absolutely, and I think when you see Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strom and Orion Kerkering, you figured, all right, let's try to get at least one of them, and they basically got to all three guys tonight, and I know that Carlos Estevez is probably going, okay, well, I need to button it up when I'm out there for mine. But if you go back to Monday, the game the Mets won in Atlanta, the last 6 games, including this one, from the 8th inning on, they've scored 18 runs. That's 12 innings, 18 runs between the 8th and the 9th innings. The first 7 innings for the last 6 games, just 11. I mean, think about that. Just pouring on runs late, waiting around, and as they continue to do that, they continue to believe that they can do something like that when they do see more and more relievers as this series, the division series, and as the Mets hope, as this playoffs roll on. So the Mets take game 1 of this best of 5, which means that they will at least have a chance to win it back in Queens. Final totals for the Mets: 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, 7 left. For the Phillies, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, 7 left. Reed Garrett the win. Jeff Hoffman takes the loss. Just 1 home run in the game. That belonged to Philadelphia's Kyle Schwarber. His first home run, of course, of the playoffs, 21st lifetime, which is the most ever by a left-handed hitter. Time of the ball game was 3 hours and 15 minutes. in front of a huge crowd here at Citizens Bank Park. 45,751. A lot of the Mets fans right now who are still here are chanting, "Let's go Mets." You can feel it.
Yeah, now they're chanting as the Phillies fans have left. It's a safer environment.
All blue seats that are empty right now, aside from a couple of ushers upstairs.
And what tweet did you show me from Julie McGill?
Yeah,
Tyler's mom?
Tyler's mom. There's some family here, of course, a lot of family in the playoffs, and Mrs. McGill typed out on Twitter that there were 20 or so security guards surrounding the family section as this thing wound down because allegedly Phillies fans who lose are a little bit rowdy.
Yeah, these things happen here.
So hopefully everybody is safe and sound. The Mets have game one safe and sound. Once again, the final score, the New York Mets 6 and the Philadelphia Phillies 2.
New York Mets Baseball is a production of Odyssey in conjunction with the New York Mets. The executive producer is Ray Martell. Production assistance by Captain Jack McCarthy. And our producer engineer in the booth is the immortal Chris Matchkowski. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow afternoon as the Mets and Phillies play Game 2 of the National League Division Series here in Philadelphia. First pitch scheduled for 4:08 with the Mets pregame show underway at 3:25. And so for Keith Radd and Pat McCarthy, I'm Howie Rose. Thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score this afternoon and evening, the New York Mets 6, the Philadelphia Phillies 2. The Mets lead the division series 1-0. Stay tuned. Pat's coming up next with a Verizon Mets postgame show. This is Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
New York Mets Baseball has been brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact one for a great deal today. And by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. The Rothenberg Law Firm. InjuryLawyer.com. Casamigos Tequila. Brought to you by those who drink it. Thrivewell Infusion. The official IV sponsor of Odyssey Mets Radio. Visit ThrivewellInfusion.com. Bridgewater Acura. On Route 22 in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Peerless Boilers and Pavilion Tankless Water Heaters. Visit peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. LifeVac, the original choking rescue suction device that saves lives. The New York Lottery. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. And by Berkeley College. Your potential is our promise.
It's the sound of where you've been and who you are. And SiriusXM has channels for every era of classic country. New millennium hits are on Y2 Country, channel 57. The 80s and 90s play all day, every day on Prime Country, channel 58. And Willie's Roadhouse, channel 61 is honky tonk heaven. Classic country curated by the legend Willie Nelson. Listen to all these and more across SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines midfield. It's a race. Picking him up. Putting him down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
If you want to win your fantasy football league, you need to listen to Fantasy Sports Radio. From lineup decisions to daily fantasy to waiver wire advice, injury updates, and so much more.
You cannot afford to drop a running back.
Our experts will help you dominate.
I think there's value there on Austin Eckler in PPR formats.
Set your lineup with Fantasy Sports Radio. Your home for fantasy football all season long. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The new basketball season is around the corner, and SiriusXM NBA Radio is getting you ready by talking to the biggest stars in the game.
Joined now by Giannis Antetokounmpo. I want to be able to have a shot at winning it all.
Starting Monday night, hear a different team's preview show.
We've got Kevin Durant sitting down with us.
Championship is always the goal.
NBA Radio season preview shows every weeknight until the season starts. Only on NBA Radio, channel 86. And for any interviews or previews you missed, hear them on the SiriusXM app.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off PGA Tour Radio. Hear from the biggest names in the sport.
Champion golfer of the year is Xander Schauffele.
I think best round of golf ever in my life.
Listen to special shows from people who love the game, like rock and roll legend Alice Cooper.
There's a putt, must be 90 feet long, and you make that putt.
And get help with your own game.
You'll get through your iron shots and have predictable distance.
It's all golf, all the time, on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Mets fans, after this game, get back to what's really important, your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
This is the Verizon Mets postgame show. Save big when you switch to the network New York City relies on. Head to your local Verizon store and check out the latest deals. Also brought to you by Flagstar Bank NA. Visit them at flagstar.com. Smash Burger, 100% certified Angus beef burgers, fries, shakes, and more. The College of New Jersey, the #1 public college from Maine to Maryland. ELEC 825, building our future. The Ray Katina family of dealerships. Visit them at raykatina.com. Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. Stay where you play. And by Orlin & Cohen Orthopedic Group. We've got specialists for that. Now, here's Pat McCarthy.
Another day, another late rally, another come-from-behind win. The story rolls on as the Mets took Game 1 of the NLDS from Zach Wheeler and the Philadelphia Phillies by a final score of 6-2. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Citizens Bank Park. This is the Verizon Mets postgame show. I'm Pat McCarthy. So the Mets, after that thrilling victory in Milwaukee to win the Wild Card Series, came to Philadelphia today, trailed from the get-go. Third pitch of the game against Kodi Sanga. Kyle Schwarber hits a leadoff home run. Phillies offense that has had a week off was often moving, but from there, the Mets pitchers just completely shut them down. The combination of Kodi Sanga, David Peterson, Reed Garrett, Phil Maton, Ryan Stanek held the Phillies to just one more run. It was a rather meaningless run that came in the ninth inning on an RBI double for Cody Clemens. But Zach Wheeler had completely shut this Mets offense down. The Mets were 1 for 21 against Zach Wheeler, and then all of a sudden, in the eighth inning against Jeff Hoffman, just rattled off hit after hit after hit. It started with a two-strike hit from Francisco Alvarez, then a really key walk from Francisco Lindor. The rally was on. Vientos with a two-strike hit. Nimmo with a two-strike hit. Alonso with a two-strike sacrifice fly. You get the theme there. Two-strike approach with guys that have absolutely nasty stuff on the mound. And Jeff Hoffman, Matt Strom, and Orion Kerkering. But the Mets just never went away. The Jose Iglesias at-bat is the perfect example. 9 straight foul balls after he went down, no balls and 2 strikes. He picks up a base hit, kept the line moving, and the Mets just figured out a way to win this game once again. And once again, they did it with the big inning. Their last 4 wins, including today, 3 runs in the 8th today, 4 in the 9th against the Brewers, 5 in the 5th against the Brewers, and then 6 in the 8th, and then 2 in the 9th against the Atlanta Braves. And you come to Philadelphia in a 5-game series for the first 2 games with the hope that you split. Anything else is just icing on the cake. The Mets took care of business now in Game 1 against Zach Wheeler. You heard Howie mention it when he was finishing up the broadcast, that you don't really have to worry about Zach Wheeler now until Game 5. You have put yourself in a position to not deal with one of the best postseason pitchers in the game right now. Tomorrow you get Christopher Sanchez. If you can figure out a way to scrap out another victory, all of a sudden you head back to Citi Field up 2-0. At the very least, the series is tied, and you have home field advantage the rest of the way. This was such a key win for the Mets. It's hard to put into words just what this win means, because not only did you get Kodi Sanga back, and yeah, it was just 2 innings, but the fact is you got him back on the mound, and you can continue to build him up. David Peterson gave you 3 nice innings of bulk relief, Reed Garrett with 2 strong innings, and you didn't need to use Edwin Diaz, which I don't think can go unsaid because it's so important to continue to give Edwin these days to bounce back. And you built enough of a lead there with that 5-run eighth to keep Diaz on the bench out in the bullpen. So now you have Edwin 2 days rested after that really heavy workload against the Brewers in the final game. So it wasn't pretty by any means. Who knows how long this recipe of hanging around until the 8th inning can leave this team in a position to win games, but right now it doesn't matter because they figure out ways to win these games. And when you get 4 two-strike hits in the 8th and the 9th inning against a bullpen that has such great swing and miss stuff, you put yourselves in a really nice position heading into Game 2. It's time for our Lessons of the Game, brought to you by the College of New Jersey. TCNJ offers a top-notch education at a public college price point. Learn more and register for an open house at tcnj.edu. Well, we learned that once again, you can be quiet for 7 innings, but what you do in the final 2 means the most, as the Mets scored 6 runs in the last 2 innings to claim Game 1. We also learned that Kodi Sanga can be effective in any kind of role, whether he's a starter or just a short starter. Kodi was able to keep the Mets in this ballgame and settled in quite nicely after allowing that leadoff home run to Kyle Schwarber. Those are our Lessons of the Game, brought to you by the College of New Jersey. Take a first break here on the Verizon Mets postgame show. When we come back, take a look at the scores from the other DS games, get a reaction from the Mets clubhouse, listen back to the highlights, and get you all set up for Game 2 tomorrow afternoon. That's next when we return to Philadelphia on Odyssey Mets Radio.
Paramus Hyundai knows that in playoff baseball, every hit, pitch, play, and save can make all the difference. Same with shopping for a new vehicle. Leave nothing to chance. Score huge savings at Paramus Hyundai. Don't miss amazing limited-time pricing on all your favorites, including the 2024 Hyundai Elantra, all backed by America's best warranty, the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty with owner assurance. 4 is always less, so root for Paramus Hyundai, ParamusHyundai.com. Let's go, New York.
Rothenberg Law Firm steps up to the plate.
It's a tough insurance company they're up against, but no match for Rothenberg.
Oh, the pitcher's known for his fastball, the no pay. But the Rothenberg Law Firm handles those with ease.
I bet he throws a curveball here, the world-famous low ball offer.
Here's the pitch. Rothenberg Law Firm has hit it out of the park. Another win for the Rothenberg Law Firm.
Big lawyer for injured ones. InjuryLawyer.com.
If you heat your home with oil, you must hear this message. Low-price home heating oil is now available to all our Mets Radio listeners at a fixed price that can save you hundreds of dollars a year on your home heating bill. If you think you're paying too much to heat your home, then pick up your phone, dial 866-OIL-DEAL right now to see how much you can save on heating oil. The Home Heating Oil Service Center is staffed 24/7, and mechanics are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to ensure your family is never left in the cold. Just dial 866-OIL-DEAL. That's 866-OIL-DEAL. The heating oil line is now open for Mets Radio listeners. Think you're paying too much for your home heating oil or service? Call the Home Heating Oil line now to see how much you can save off your home heating costs. Don't wait. There is no reason to pay too much for home heating oil. You can get the best service, 24-hour mechanics, and a low flat rate for this home heating season, guaranteed. So call now. Dial 866-OIL-DEAL. That's 866-OIL-DEAL.
Hey, New York fans. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in New York City's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at a New York City area Verizon store.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
The College of New Jersey offers a top-notch education at a public college price point. That's higher education elevated. Learn more at tcnj.edu. Welcome back to the Verizon Mets postgame show. Mets took Game 1 from the Philadelphia Phillies